Singer, songwriter, and dear friend of Limit Break Radio, Susan Calloway, announced a live performance on July 15th at 20 Front Street, Lake Orion, a groovy suburb of hometown Detroit, Michigan. Known to the FF community as the voice of Final Fantasy XIV theme songs and Distant Worlds concerts, Susan is currently working on her own music and recently released her single, Time for This. Her live and unplugged performance promises to be soulful, inspiring, and a hangout with her fans. Tickets are only $15 and can be found at susancalloway.com. More tour dates and cities will be announced soon.
Episode of Limit Break Radio is made possible by our generous Patreon donors, including Vector Parcel from Sargentanis, Hirsch Firsch of Ferry, Rav Mall of Cactar. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/limitbreakradio. And bye... Muphilia's Marvelous Makote Fun Balls! Hi there, cat aficionados! Do you love playing with your feline friends as much as I do? Of course you do! That's why you need Muphilia's Marvelous Makote Fun Balls! They're a ball of fun for every cat girl, male or female. With our special blend of tranquilizers, aphrodisiacs, and catnip, let the good times roll with Muphilia's Marvelous Makote Fun Balls! Order today and get a special promotional item never before seen in stores. It's a free sample of Muphilia's amazing Aura Eczema Cream. Be the first to test out our new product, guaranteed every unsightly blemish on any aura. So go get Muphilia's Marvelous Makote Fun Balls and have the night of your life with your pussy.
Live from Eorzea. Limit Break with your hosts, Nero.
Now behold the horror you have wrought.
Kahlo.
I said don't take your clothes off.
Juxtaposition.
I don't get it.
Ascalia.
Holy shit, totally forgot about him.
And Mika.
Oh my god.
LimitBreakRadio.com.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Limit Break Radio, episode 119. Appreciate having you along. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio is the Twitch channel. You can also subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/Limit Break Radio. And of course, to the podcast over at our website, limitbreakradio.com. I'm Nero. Joining me today, of course, is my in-studio crew. We've got Kahlo and Juxta. Absent is Ascalia. And I don't know what is going on in the background of Mika.
Stop banging shit. What are you doing?
Okay, part of that was Sarah and part of that...
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Why
Stop blaming Senpai.
Thank you.
First of all,
Always blaming Senpai.
He has a broken computer chair that like slides when he sits in it, so every time he stands up, it goes like... It like clicks back into place.
Sounds like, you know what that sounds like? It sounds like we could use a sponsorship either from Ewan or from DX Racer. And I'll just let you guys fight it out which one gets to do that. Yeah, just putting that out there.
What's a Ewan?
They make really nice chairs,
Is that actually how it's pronounced? I thought it was Ewan.
No, it's Ewan.
I'm going to say Ewan.
I think it's Ewan. Anyway, thanks for joining us here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Appreciate having you along. Thanks. I didn't intro Nika, but I guess she doesn't need an introduction. Hi.
She's too busy beating up Senpai.
Yeah, seriously. What? I don't know what that's all about.
Senpai, if you need
he likes it.
If you need help,
Blink twice. Oh, clap twice.
Anyway, we're of course live from Eorzea, and let's kick it on over to our Eorzean studios. And it's black. It's pitch black in our studios. They've turned off the lights. Oh, no.
We didn't pay our power bill.
Go touch his dick.
Just give me a second, and I'll get the.
Wait, why is it all dark?
I'll get the studio on screen. Don't worry about it. It's because we switched over to the new
Frapplegop.
the new OBS. Thank you. There we go.
The new Frapplegop.
Thank you, Morty. I appreciate that. Anyway, appreciate having you guys along. If you want to join us, we are in the Sargentana server, which is a server that you can get into reasonably quickly. I think there was only 9 people in queue when I was logging in today. And join us at the Goblet 5th Ward plot number 30. If you want to join us in studio, there seems to be plenty of room because Kahlo keeps forgetting to look at the retainer.
No, it's even worse than that. I straight up forgot to turn on my computer this morning.
Why do you even bother?
Wow.
Living.
Yeah.
You're really bad at this.
I am. My bad.
Did you just forget that you do a show for Final Fantasy XIV?
My voice is more important than a character up there that isn't going to even be on cam half the time because there's going to be some little Taru going around sexually assaulting everyone.
That's not true because we can't use the iCam right now because Square Enix.
Oh, damn it, Square Enix.
But here's the thing, though, is that, my voice matters more than your voice. Like, you can log... I don't understand what your voice has to do.
I would like to point out,
logging on your character.
I would like to point out that Ascalia,
which means that it's not related at all to this point.
Ascalia isn't here this week because he was tired from a busy work schedule. Last week,
he was out interviewing.
He was on an interview thing.
Yeah,
he was
planning on
skipping.
He was on assignment. He was on assignment,
and he was going to skip before we gave him that assignment.
I actually don't think he was. I don't think he was. Anyway,
shut up, you little weasel.
So yeah, if you want to join us, we are in the Goblet 5th Ward plot number 30. Hang out if you think you look cool. Nika does not. What is that shield?
Jesus Christ.
Okay, someone in the chat told me Nika can keep her clothes on, so I decided to strip.
Shameful.
Stop it. What is that shield? It's hideous.
Everything about her is hideous.
It's the fucking tome shield.
That's awful.
It's terrible.
It is bad. The sword looks cool. I like the hook at the end.
You glamour that shit.
I would go back to Rowena and ask for my tomes back. Like, you do returns, right? Because this is bullshit. What the fuck? Like, you might
I'll just be on Samurai instead.
God, that's even worse. But it looks like they bolted a couple of tassels to a plank shield and called it done. That's really not very inspired.
All right, I got a fiery katana instead.
This is so awful.
God damn.
I look so badass.
Can you at least put clothes on? Jesus.
No way.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. LimitBreakRadio.com is the website, and
Threw up in my mouth a little bit.
We are also supported by your support over at Patreon.com/LimitBreakRadio. Before we get into the show here, I wanted to read a quick review that came to us from iTunes. And we every once in a while we'll check in with our iTunes reviews. There haven't been very many recently.
Go review us on iTunes. Maybe we'll read yours on the air.
So I just want to encourage anyone who hasn't yet reviewed Limit Break Radio. You can review either the Limit Break Radio Final Fantasy XIV specific stream, or you can find the LBR Podcast Network. Either of those are acceptable, but if you haven't yet, leave us an iTunes review. But this one comes to us from Starry Wisdom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nice.
Piss.
And they said LBR used to be a show that offered a great complement of hosts and had a varied set of views. As of recently, they have done nothing but bring the quality of their show down. Their content has dropped. Their hosts have become argumentative, and they tout their opinions as fact. These hosts have lost connection with their community, and they sound like they just show up to argue with one another. I can't even remotely recommend this anymore.
Wait, hold on. In the same review, he said that we all have the same opinions, but we argue with one another.
Right. Yes. Well, no, they said that we tout our opinions as fact, which is actually something that we've never done.
We show up to argue with each other.
That's true.
And it said we used to have varying opinions, but now we don't, which means we all agree with each other, but we argue with each other.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. I guess.
Sure.
I don't really understand the logical jump
No,
there.
that's not fair, Nero. I disagree.
No, what I was saying, what you were saying was fair.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. No, it's not.
I disagree that is fair.
This guy's an idiot.
Well, he is a wizard.
The line in there that really bothers me is they tout their opinions as fact. No, we don't.
I don't think we ever did that.
I don't think we've ever done that.
I always do.
You know what it is? It's because on any other like sort of YouTube or stream, people will always follow up an opinion with, but that's just my opinion.
That is true. You know what? That is true. That constant caveating of well, it's just my opinion, and if so feel free to disagree, and if you want, leave a comment about it. Like
comment, subscribe.
Oh my God!
Favorite, subscribe.
I fucking hate that. It just
subscribe, Starbuck.
I think we should start following up all of our opinions with, and that's just the facts.
Thanks, Starry Wisdom.
Did you enjoy watching me pay?
How many stars did he give us? Was it 4?
No, it was 1.
Oh,
that was a 1-star review.
That's harsh.
We'd love to.
He'll be missed.
We'd love to hear your comments and read your feedback because we do read all of these comments.
But only if you're a piss wizard.
We are narcissists after all. So feel free to leave us a review over at iTunes. And thank you, Starry.
Speaking of comments, we have a YouTube comment that I actually wanted to read.
Oh.
And this kind of filters in with the review.
Getting feedback on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this is one that I believe agrees with us. Is that correct, Kyle?
Yeah, it is. So
where's this coming from?
This is on YouTube. Normally we really stick it to our YouTube people for being idiots, but this one comes from Geology Rocks Rock. All right.
Wait. Geology Rocks Rock?
That's awesome. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
I mean,
geology rocks, they do rock.
Yeah.
They rocks.
Mm-hmm.
They rocks.
So he says, I'm posting this here because you guys seem to tell it like it is and most likely share similar viewpoints. So here goes. Is anyone else really annoyed by the bosses in Omega? I'm specifically speaking about the first one specifically. It's alt-right. Yeah, I'll say that again. Alt-right. This is clearly a clouded attempt at a shot against the alt-right.
Oh my God.
It's not, though.
Hold on. Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt. How is no one upset by this? My Final Fantasy XIV is not a place to post ideological viewpoints, but even if it is, it's not a place to bash them. You are metaphorically bashing the alt-right. How is that okay? Why does Square Enix think that this gaming platform for fun is the appropriate place to place their soapbox pedestal? You spelled that wrong. There is no place for it.
Pedestal?
Yeah. Pedestal.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
I play this game to have fun, not have certain viewpoints bashed into the ground, okay? Here are names. It needs to be switched. My favorite system, by the way, immediately. Left-right. OB Yamas, or Dragon Beast Prime. The fact that Square Enix really thought that we, the fans and players who play this game, would be kosher is just nuts. It's stuff like this that reaffirms my belief that all other cultures are simply wrong. America culture is just the best, and really every other one could stand to learn a thing or two from America culture, like a thing known as respect for other human beings for a change, all right? One thing they did get right, though, I'll give them credit for, is they totally did X-Death right. Man, it feels good to smash that black shadowy guy. Ha 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 ha. But really, back to the matter at hand. I hate Square Enix so much. Alt-right is so painfully obvious what it's meant to represent. Maybe just call the next boss Mudolph Meowtler while you're at it. Like, seriously. Anyway, I gotta go now, but man, this is really frustrating as a player, and I can totally see how some people would get offended by this. But not me. I'm not like other but people. I know who are pretty cool but are alt-right. Anyways, peace out, man. Shall rise above women, lulz.
All right.
Obviously a troll, but still a bad one.
Yeah.
Because, he's there talks about X-Death. Every single boss is from Final Fantasy V.
Let me just point out something,
including that one.
Let me just point out something, okay? All right. Let me just. I just need to explain something here.
Damn, this is shit.
I don't know if maybe this is your first Final Fantasy game that you've ever played. I don't know. I don't want to assume anything about you, Geology Rocks Rock. But if you've played any of the other Final Fantasy games, you know that a central theme of Final Fantasy is killing God. So
yes, multiple games you do that.
So if you're concerned about the name of a boss that you end up beating down and it's kind of close to alt-right, and you have a problem with that, but you never really saw the problem of facing off against God in any of the other Final Fantasy games, I think that maybe you're valuing the idea of alt-right a little bit too much. And I get that at the end he's, kind of, it's a wink and a nod to being a joke. And that's fine. The racist part about beating up the black guy X-Death, that was a little bit... That's pretty far.
Come and get it.
We told our trolls to up their game. I'd say that this guy's
I'm impressed.
He was trying to take a page from our book, I think.
I'm impressed.
Almost hit it, a few misses.
It was pretty close. But yeah, anyone who that may not sit right with, you know what? I think you really need to, reconsider. A snowflake is probably a term that is in your vernacular that you use quite regularly, and consider the way that you're reacting to something like that, and then ask yourself who the fucking snowflake is.
It's you, bitch.
Right. So, that's a good comment. I like that. That was good.
Put some thought into that one.
Yes, clearly there was definitely some thought into that, and they wanted to get read on the air. So I'm glad.
Hats off to you, Geology Rocks Rock.
You did. Congratulations. Anyway, let's check out what's going on in FF14 news.
This is a Limit Breaking News Update.
Square Enix has issued another screenshot contest. After all, we don't want that group pose feature to go to waste. You can use the group pose picture or the group pose function to capture your favorite battle action or abilities, and you could be one of 50 winners to receive one of the following prizes: the Scarf of Wondrous Wit, the Araman Choker, the Mandy Choker, the Bluebird Earring, or the Noble Barding. Plus, 3 grand prize winners will receive a set of Taito figurines, which include Y'shtola, Thancred, and Nutter the Nutkin.
Nutter's gonna nut.
Nutter's gonna nut. Submissions must be made on the official forums thread for the contest.
Wait, Nutter the Nutkin? Is that a real thing?
I don't know if that's his canon name, but that's what I'm saying it is.
It's a Nutkin figurine?
Yeah, alongside Y'shtola and Thancred.
Oh, that's odd.
This is an action contest. Action poses.
I guess. I don't know.
I wonder if it counts action emotes though, because I got some really cool poses at the top of that fucking jump tower using action emotes.
Nika,
I don't know if that counts.
Nobody cares.
It says action job actions.
Literally nobody cares.
Counts.
You just have to be in an action pose, okay?
Okay, then I'm gonna.
Can you do that? You can do that.
I'm gonna
okay,
submit
good.
it.
All right.
Everybody better vote for me.
And I don't think it's a voting contest.
I don't care. Vote for me anyway.
They just pick them. So. Yeah, they know who you are. You're not winning this contest. Sorry.
You can like on the official forums, though, right? So if there's like 1 million likes on one and nobody likes any other picture, then they'll have to make it win, right?
Good luck.
I'm a girl. I like dicks.
That always catches me off guard because it's so like on point with her mic quality that for a minute I thought she was saying that.
I'll say yes.
Oh, God.
The next letter from the producer live has been announced. It will take place on Saturday, July 15th at 2:30 a.m. PDT. Art director Hiroshi Minagawa will be making a special guest appearance to answer questions from the players.
Oh, the art director.
The Q&A theme for this live letter is Exploring Patch 4.0, as well as questions for Minagawa on the UI design. There is a designated thread on the official forums for question submission.
I think they're gonna pick any good ones.
Yes.
No.
Do they ever? I don't know. Everyone.
They'd be like, so we've got the Carbuncle Glamours. When are we gonna get more Summoner Eggy Glamours?
Like the only hope to have a good Q&A session with the FF14 devs
Put
is
us
if they're
in charge of it.
No, if they're that is one way. That would be interesting. It would be. I think that would be more like Between Two Ferns than it would like a Q&A. You know what I mean? Like it would just. I don't. I feel like I would just throw stuffed chocobos at him the whole time, just cuz.
Do you even have a stuffed chocobo?
No.
That'd be a really short interview.
Nero sits down. All right, I'm just gonna throw a chokeabout, and I guess we're done here. Walks away.
Instead, I just throw ice cubes. I don't know why.
Because it's cool.
Because it hurts. I don't know. Anyway, but no, the only hope to have a good Q&A is if they're doing it live and they're asking people in the audience. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Outside of that,
and then
they never curate good questions.
Yeah, then maybe you'll get like 2 gems. Yeah.
And I'm sure that in there, somewhere there's going to be a question about the difficulty of something in Stormblood, and it's going to make my fucking blood pressure rise.
Oh, well, you better get your blood pressure ready, because we got something like that coming up.
Oh, God damn it.
On July 6th, an update was done to the game to help alleviate duty finder congestion. The Adventurer in Need bonus for the duty roulette leveling now grants a cracked cluster. So healers and tanks, go get them tier 6 materias. Remember everyone, Yoshi said there wouldn't be a problem with roulettes because everyone is still going to play their normal jobs. Keep that in mind.
I had to use a cracked cluster to unclog some backup that I had earlier today.
What?
I don't know.
With your poop?
That's what I was kind of going for. I don't know that it totally connected, but
It didn't,
the
but-
cluster is
but
like
he got it.
heroin.
A for effort.
No, like I knew what you were talking about, but I just... a rather
I like
interesting...
the joke because it was about poop.
Yeah.
Did you just call it heroin? Is that what I just heard?
Yes.
Well, first of all, the answer to that
It's the
question
drug
is
for
no.
heroes.
But the drug for heroes. Okay, sure.
Heroes never die.
Except when it's of a heroin overdose.
So a rather interesting story's popped up over on Kotaku this past week, and honestly, it's a pretty good read. A duo on Mateus owns 28 plots of land in the Goblet. They have spent thousands of hours together carefully curating their little slice of Eorzea, and that was all fine and dandy until Square Enix started offering free transfers to Mateus. Now, as all the housing units have been starting to fill up, people notice that these two players own almost an entire ward by themselves, and turns out people aren't too happy about it.
I would imagine they wouldn't be.
Yeah.
And the thing is the question kind of arose out of this is, does Square Enix have to step in and do something? No.
If Square Enix were to do anything, it would be to just add more housing units. Mm-hmm. But since there's nothing in place to stop people from buying up more than 1 or 2 pieces of land, that if they earn the gil for it, and if they want to spend the time doing what they're doing, then yeah, they have every right to do so.
But no 2 people deserve to have 28 plots of land.
I mean, if they can afford it.
How about this? Nobody deserves to have 1 piece of land. Why don't we start there? Because that's really what's at the root of the problem, is all these people who don't have the gil yet or didn't get there in time, they want a house. They deserve to have a house. These are the same people that got us story mode, that got PvP neutered the way that it was, because they deserve to do everything. These are the same people that we're going to talk about in our next little news story here, that thinks that everything should be nerfed so that everybody can do it on the first time and enjoy it.
And
Fuck those people.
And again, look, these people are, crafters. They've made the gil. They're spending it in the economy in a legal way. What would you rather have them do? I mean, like, if they're spending it in a way that doesn't subvert the system or break the rules, sorry, get fucked. Get fucked, other people on Mateus. Like, yeah, they've got their ward, and guess what? They get to keep it.
Yep.
Good for them.
I agree.
If you're smart enough to figure out how to make that much money, go for it. Just do it. I'm not going to sit here and fucking bellyache at them. Like,
they've put, I think, like $150 million just into buying all the plots, and then they pretty much made any type of furniture or whatever that they have. And any of the structures that they have, which range from schoolhouses to gardens to a temple/church dedicated to Zodiark.
I like these guys. That's pretty cool.
They originally came from Belmung.
But still, though, I mean, like, look, if you wanted to do something, like on a big scale, like if you wanted to do some kind of
they've kind of made their own sort of like in a way like a theme park
or a community.
Yeah, a community there.
Like, and the thing is I mean, like they can let their friends or their free company mates or people that they know use that kind of use that space, and that's all for them. And you know what? That I really don't have a problem with this.
Yeah.
Okay, except the problem is that Square Enix only lets you have one house per character and per link shell. So what they're doing is clearly circumventing that limit.
By paying for more characters.
You don't pay for characters.
Or making more characters, whatever it, like.
Okay, but you know what? They still then every 30 days have to make sure they log on to each character to make sure that they're not losing it.
You thought 8 retainers was a pain in the ass.
Yeah, like they're putting like work and time and effort into this. Look, it's not like they're buying all of these things up then trying to resell them for triple what the price would be. Right? Yeah. They're actually using all of these plots of land,
which other people do all the time,
sure do.
And yeah, there are complaints about it, but
and
it still happens.
They've worked very hard to create what they have created. So guess what? If you got to Mateus a little, too late, or you didn't have the money to buy a house up, you better work hard and make sure you have the money ready for all the Kugane houses.
Go rent an apartment and fuck yourself, you poor bastard. Who gives a fuck?
Although I think apartments are finite as well.
Who gives a shit? Mm-hmm. Fine, then rent a room somewhere. Who cares? Who fucking cares about this?
They're all people from Balamung who are RP, so they need their own little sex slave.
Yeah, but you know what? This fucking stinks of people who just bought Stormblood, have bought a jump potion, skipped their way to the end, and then go, oh, but I want to be able to have a house too.
And they deserve that.
No, they don't.
They should get a house with their jump potion.
Yeah.
Now, what the fuck?
They already get 1 million gil.
That's
halfway there.
Pay us $75 and we'll give you a small house.
I don't think we have a small house available.
No. I mean, like Square. That's going to be Square Enix's next program. Like that. Awesome. This is fucking stupid.
It is.
And if you're mad about it, you're on a shitty server, and I don't like you.
Because they're on a shitty server?
No, just for several reasons, but that's among one of them. Get on a better server.
Waiting to release the housing ward all at once so that everyone can just rush and it's going to sell out at like 2 a.m. or something.
Sure is. So you better be ready.
I forgot that there's going to be.
I originally thought that they would have it on release, so that way, like, as people were like staggering and finishing the storyline, they would be staggering into the housing ward, and not like rushing all in at once.
Square Enix wants it to be fair. Everyone needs a chance to, save up their money or to finish the MSQ, and then they're gonna let us know when it happens. So everyone's gonna be like lined up like a big race. And
even before that last update, like 4.01 or whatever it was, people were logging off in Shirogane just in case the housing was there when they logged back in.
Just in case.
Just in case.
They'll let us know far ahead of time, I guarantee it.
Like, honestly.
I mean, I really want one because I actually have enough money to buy a personal.
Of course you do, because you want to hang out with your stupid wooden sandals and your goddamn parasols and
what?
Fucking all of that. And the weird robe thing that they wear.
That's right.
Kimonos, there you go.
Wow.
I almost said Shakira for some reason.
My Shakira skin.
Someone just skinned Shakira.
You guys are horrible.
Is it making fun of weebs or skinning Shakira that did it for you? What was the thing that's over the line?
Culture, not Shakira.
Well, we've done that before. Okay, so hold on. Making fun of a culture that we've done before is what insults you, not the loss of life. Okay, Nika.
oh, I'm sorry, Nika. Like can you really argue the benefits of those stupid goddamn wooden sandals? How can you walk? How can you walk comfortably on that? Even the fucking Dutch were able to make footwear out of wood that was more acceptable than that shit.
A Nero senpai.
All that takes 2 nails and 4 pieces of wood, and you're done.
A Nero senpai.
Okay, so
it is not about comfortable. It's about patience and virtue.
Please.
Hi.
No, I will say.
You tried to get that out like 4 times. That was fucking awful.
I know. He just kept going.
For as much as I'm sure you're all going to yell "weeb" at me, one of my friends.
Weeb.
Thank you.
Weeb.
One of my friends was actually in a kimono fashion show yesterday, so I went to this.
Oh my God.
I went to at a Buddhist temple. Apparently, it's a Buddhist temple in Northern Virginia. Who knew? They were having a Japanese culture festival for the Obon stuff, and I was watching everyone who was there in a kimono or a yukata that was actually wearing those wooden shoes had the most difficult time. Like there was a guard, like the fashion show was in the garden, and there.
Weeb.
Anyway, the fashion show was in a garden, and the garden had rocks, and so the people were trying to walk on these rocks with these like wooden sandals, and they were literally falling.
And you
over.
didn't take pictures or videos?
No, because they're people I know who could do that.
They're like 6 inches off the fucking ground
it's
with those.
Really, it looked really uncomfortable and very impractical. So I'm not actually sure the reasoning behind it.
How many people had fucking parasols? Because that's another.
Nobody did.
No,
I'm
surprised.
I will say, I mean, part of that in Japan, it was because this had it was a lot of Americans and a lot of American Japanese, so it was a little bit different. But the parasol thing is because fair skin is considered beautiful, and so the parasols block the sun so they don't get tan. Did you know that?
Did you know that?
Wait, what?
I'm not kidding.
I know. That's You're not kidding, and that's the problem.
Because they think tan skin. I mean, that's another part of the horrible culture of a lot of cultures.
Yes,
the lighter your skin, the better.
Jokes are so fun when you explain all of them. When you explain it down to the iota.
Some people didn't know that.
Look,
You have done well.
It's the teacher in her, okay?
It is true. That's true.
The not funny part?
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Yeah. Oh.
So this next one isn't really news, but it's something we need to talk about before it becomes a problem. Well, more of a problem. It seems that as simplified and dumbed down as the game already is, some people still need it to be made even easier. A post on Facebook, and a similar one on the OF, was made, and it read as follows.
Now, Nika, you were the one that found this, right?
It was, actually.
Yeah.
She did work?
It was on Facebook.
She stumbled across it.
Oh, it was an accident.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we appreciate
Nika,
doing work.
Did you want to read it?
Not really, because I don't have cool voices like you guys.
Well, you were... all right. Okay. So,
you're a weeb. You have to have a cool, stupid weeb
use your
voice.
teacher
My
voice.
weeb voice is my normal voice.
Use your teacher voice.
Do I have it? Okay, I can read it like I read children's books.
Okay,
there you go.
There you go.
The writing level is about about at the right.
I mean, because I put a lot of emotion when I read children's books. Like I give a lot of emphasis.
Yeah, and this guy's writing at a 3rd grade level, so I think you're fine.
All right. So Final Fantasy XIV Royal Menagerie Trial Normal. Please lower the difficulty of the Final Fantasy XIV Royal Menagerie Trial. I spent over 12 hours nonstop with several parties of all kind of trying to clear this content. However, it's simply impossible to beat unless I spend millions in gil to buy a clear from people who managed to beat it. This game has been a great thing to bring people together and have fun, but this latest trial fight has made the game impossible to play. I even tried beating it with the 140 plus number FC I am a part of, and simply, it cannot be beaten, even with understanding all of the mechanics of the fight.
Sounds like your FC sucks.
Yeah.
He deals far too much damage repeatedly. Please lower this fight or make trials like this completely optional and no longer part of the storyline, as it's ruining a game I have played since 1.0.
Oh my
you
god.
You punch like somebody who isn't American.
The first thing I'd like to say to Nika is that was pretty good. I think you have a very promising future in doing anime voiceovers.
Thank you.
You might not want to tell your friends about that.
So, clearly this was written by a retard. And
hey, he might have been autistic. It's the new retarded.
Oh, okay. I forgot. And yeah, I was there any guess that this was going to be the eventual outcome of anything that presented a challenge in this game? Even the remotest of challenge. This is insane. This is Steps of Faith all over again.
Yes, idiot.
Not to mention, all right, so this is the the final fight, right? The end of the MSQ. And this person is claiming that because of this, the game is ruined for them. Nigh unplayable, right?
Because they can't clear it.
Right. So you need to clear it so you can, go stand in Kugane?
So you can do expert roulette.
Duh.
Right? Do you actually have to complete this trial? Because once you complete each of the dungeons, then you have access to expert roulette. No?
I think you need to...
No, because by this point, you should already be level 70.
Yeah, I think you need to clear the MSQ.
I think you have to clear the story to get the other two available, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Well, this person doesn't strike me as the type of person who's going to grind out tomestones every week anyhow.
The person we don't want grinding out tomestones with us.
This is painfully stupid.
Yep.
This is painfully stupid.
What I don't like about this one is we have no idea who wrote it, so we can't really,
flame them.
But we do have one from the official forums.
I'm pretty sure, I'm nearly positive it's the same person, because if you look at the one that's blocked out, you can see his white top and his whatever, and the one on the forum had his same avatar. So I'm pretty sure it's the same person. He just edited it, and it's not anybody.
Nika's putting her internet detective hat on.
Well, because the ones from the forum is quite different too. Is they didn't just do a copy and paste job,
right?
No, but
they must have a lot of
saying the same thing. It's just I think they tried to edit it. There's uppercase letters and periods now.
Oh, well, that's helpful.
It's an improvement.
I'd like to read the one from the OF
Go
really
for
quick.
it.
Sure.
Royal Menagerie needs a nerf worked at this trial with a level 70 job and best gear, even medicine and food for over 10 hours, and simply there is no way to clear it. The boss simply puts out too much damage for 2 healers and the 3 limited self-heals. I even popped high-level healing item in fight to somehow try to survive, and every time, even with full understanding of the mechanics, the boss could only be beaten down to about 35%. I have used every skill rotation I can find online. I tried help from the FC I'm part of, and all I can get out of this anyone is buy a clear. I don't have millions.
Some kind of moron, you know that?
I don't have millions of gil I can waste on a possible clear, and frankly, the fight needs to be made optional for storyline or nerfed down to where it's legitimately easier on players. I even tried playing on a PC rather than PS4, shut everything down to maintain the best connection I can for both, and simply there is nothing that I can be done to pass that content.
You're a bitch.
Oh, he has a name.
He has a name. Do we put it out there? Are we that mean?
What?
It's on the OF.
Kengi Stargazer
of Hyperion.
He did it.
He graces upon the stars.
Kengi. Listen, Kengi. Here.
Kenji was taken, so Kengi.
First of all, I'm gonna explain something to you. If you're migrating from the PS4 onto PC hardware and you're having to shut everything down, maybe your PC hardware actually isn't better than the PlayStation 4 hardware, because this game actually runs pretty well on PlayStation 4. So that's your first thing. Second thing is, you sound like you suck at this game, and you're bad, because if you've been trying this for 10 hours and you keep failing, and you've tried with your free company, you've tried a variety of different groups,
and you clear from this. And come on.
And I'm going to get to that, and you still can't pass it.
You suck at everything.
And you're the problem. You have to recognize that you're the problem.
He tried every rotation.
He's been playing since 1.0.
Well,
he's a veteran player.
That's right. I'm sure that is not at all an exaggeration, because people don't get on their fucking moral high horse when they want to complain about something.
Why would he lie?
Because saying, I've been a customer since 1.0 is a lot easier than saying, I just bought this game, bought a level up potion,
Kenji,
and now I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Kenji, take it from us. Putting I've been playing since 1.0 in front of your problems will not get Square Enix to listen to you.
Yeah.
We've tried it.
Yeah. We've legitimately been playing since 1.0, and they couldn't give a half a fuck about what we say. So, on to the third issue, because, and again, this is the thing that gets mentioned between both the posts that does make me think that they're from the same author.
I'm pretty sure it is.
That they're being met with, the only answer is buy a clear. If the people around you are recommending that you buy a clear, you're surrounding yourself with fucking morons. That should actually be the first hint that the people around me are dumb and don't know what they're talking about.
Or this guy whines and bitches in his FC all the time, and everyone's sick of helping him. So that
might be true too.
Off and buy a clear.
That might be true. You know what? You know what, Nika? I actually think that that's probably a little bit more likely.
Well, then
I'm just saying. If Kengi is listening to this, I'm just recommending severing ties with your free company because you're dragging them down like an anchor because you're terrible at this game, and
they're not helping you either.
They're not. Yeah, they're totally over it. They're done with you.
I'm actually going to go ahead and try and speak to his free company. If you have a Kengi Stargrazer in your free company,
grazing on all of your stars,
just kick him.
Yeah,
like do yourself a favor and just remove him.
Yeah, this is the leader. But this is one of those people, and like I think we've all experienced this. But they're the anchor on the party, but yet they're the most vocally obnoxious and the most argumentative and the biggest complainer. That is happening, especially now with the jump potions at a staggering rate.
Mm-hmm.
A staggering rate. I can't do a dungeon without running into an asshole anymore. That's sad. That's sad because up until this point, I would say that the ratio of assholes that I meet in parties was fairly low. Most of the time, we didn't say anything to each other, and that was fine. But now,
it's like going to the restroom.
But now you have these assholes that will on the first or second wipe of either a new dungeon or even an old one where you have new people with you. They'll start piping up and telling you all the wrong shit, and that's what this sounds like. And a lot of times the answer from those guys is exactly what Kengi is suggesting here: is make it easier, because clearly if I can't do it, nobody can do it. And that's a false equivalence. Like you can't assume that just because you can't do it, nobody can do it. And again, I'm going to go back and say what I had originally said is that you're the fucking problem here. That you're the one that's dragging everyone down, and you're asking. Oh, what do we have here?
Selling RM clear. 5 meals cheapest you'll find. EST with no parents. Enjoy the game with my help.
There you go.
Orphan McNo parents.
Let Orphan McNo parents know, and he'll get you through. Anyway,
I hope you enjoyed my children's story.
It wasn't one with a happy ending, though, Nika. I have to.
Yeah, nobody sucked my cock.
Whoa.
Wow.
I wasn't paying attention to anything except I heard happy ending, and that's just where my mind went.
Okay, all right. Well, anyway, so I mean, you should probably never watch to the end of a State of a Realm episode, because every time happy ends the show. It's a happy ending.
Oh my God. Get out.
Does he suck everyone's dick?
Get out.
Can I call it a day? Am I done?
Get out.
Am I done?
You are so
Can
terrible.
I punch the clock? Can I get out of here now? I feel like I've hit my joke quota today, and I could just phone in the rest of the show.
That's actually the Kahlo joke quota, where like you've hit rock bottom and you should probably kill yourself.
Please kill yourself.
On the air.
I think you have a knife over here.
Well, we'd get more listeners if you did. Anyway, all right. So that was retarded. Can we move on from Kengi?
We sure can.
Okay.
Can we not, though?
No, we can't. Okay.
Oh, no.
Everyone buckle up.
What?
I know what you must thinking after all that. At least the worst is over.
We're an hour into the show.
Sure, that post and subsequent discussion may have given you cancer, but it can only go up from here.
Oh, my God.
Boy, oh boy, how wrong you are.
Actually, I get up from this.
Thank you to Juxta for finding this little gem on the Reddit for us.
The Reddit.
The Reddit.
The Reddit.
Unlike the Stop Using Kagane poster, who was likely a one-and-done troll, this guy fired back and got pretty deep. So the post in question reads as follows.
Okay.
I'm not sure what to look at. I never use Reddit, but looking for something NSFW that showcases players' nude mods and such that they program into the game for G-Pose and things like that. I'd prefer not safe for work versions of in-game models, whether through the mod or through Photoshop. This guy's looking for NSFW
this
FF14
is real?
mods.
This is real?
But the thing is they exist, and we have our good old buddy Evolved Male gets banned all the time for nude mods in games. So is there not a place that people post these so that people can find them?
I mean, you would think I
feel like it's gotta exist somewhere, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen disturbing Final Fantasy themed things.
Well, this guy says that he has found evidence of them, people talking about them or saying how to install them, but he can't find where
how to install. Whoa, hang on. Oh, he's talking about the mods.
Yes,
okay, wait a minute. I was going to be like, any pictures or videos that is asking you to install anything, like I would pump the brakes there, buddy.
Yeah, but he's having problems finding the actual program. Now, remember,
did he get the answer?
I don't think he did. No. Now, if you remember again with the Stop Abusing Kugane, they had made the thread and then boom, that was it.
Right,
and that was like their only post. Well, people obviously fired back at this guy, like someone
said Balmung.
Someone says, you, sir, have problems. Someone else says, deep problems that no non-professional can help, and he took a little bit of offense to this. He replies with, everyone in this world has sexual desires and thoughts.
Oh, God.
Maybe some more so than others. Sexuality and nudity and wanting to see these things are not problems. They are things that humans with hormones face every day. Sexuality is not a problem. It is a natural trait.
That's true.
He's not wrong.
I mean, okay.
So
he's defending something in like really cringy and weird, but
well,
but he's
can
not,
do whatever he wants with it.
I can agree. I can agree with the sentiment at least.
I feel like the issue with this post isn't that he's looking for it; it's that nobody else wanted to voice it, and because he was the one who voiced it, he's the one who's getting.
Here's my thing, and
to be honest, he's actually doing a service to everybody, and I salute him.
It goes deeper.
Okay.
Someone says, wanting to see nudity in people is not a problem. Wanting to see nudity in cartoons or video game characters is.
I was actually just gonna talk about this because and I agree wholeheartedly with this sentiment because I have never been attracted to anything that wasn't. I haven't been attracted to anything that's not a person. Right? Like, I think that...
Oh, so you're saying you never seen a piece of furniture and was like, No.
No.
You've never, ever called a video game character hot.
You've never listened to your own voice and jerked it.
That's different.
That's different.
That's an ego. That's an ego
thing. Who doesn't think Tifa is hot? Right? Everyone likes her tits. Everyone's been saying this shit forever. So anyone who sits here and says they've never found a video game character attractive is a piece of
I say that shit as a joke. Like, I've never legitimately, there's never been a cartoon character. There's never been a fucking...
What about people who dress up as cartoon characters?
That's different. That's it. That is a person. You can be attracted to that person, but I think being attracted to something that is not real is kind of fucked up. Like, I've never understood that. Like the whole waifu pillow and like the...
There are different levels of this.
Yes, I understand. I understand that there are different levels of this, but I think, like, if you want to trace these things like, furries and bronies and all of this other, like, weird sexual shit that people are getting into where, like, there's, like, they're plumbing the depths of their imaginations for things that get their dick hard. I think that's so weird. Like, I think this is probably why I don't understand things like furries or bronies or
do you understand hentai in general?
Hentai. No, I don't. I've never understood hentai because it just, like, to me, it was never something that was attractive. It was something that I laughed at. It was something that I found funny because
Can I make a weird case you've probably never thought of before?
In a second. Because the thing that I found incredibly funny about this was the thought of someone actually having to sit there and draw it cell by cell. Really, like, when it got to something incredibly graphic or, like, really weird with tentacles, you know what I mean? Like, it would make
of that stuff is
it would make me fucking laugh like crazy because I couldn't take it seriously.
But doesn't porn make you laugh like crazy? Every single porn is as cheesy as actual fuck, and, like, who can stand to watch that?
Not really.
Every porn out there is cheesy.
If it's acted, like, if they're, like, getting into a scene of some, not every porn is cheesy. There's, like,
there's tasteful stuff,
and there's incredibly not tasteful stuff where it starts when a dude's just throat fucking a chick.
Fund.
Nika waifu pillow.
Waifu.
Waifu.
It's waifu.
I'd actually like to hear now what Nico's going to mount a defense, right?
Okay, well, it has to do with the fact that normal porn is cheesy and stupid, and like maybe a lot of people just watched porn for the sex, but I can tell you as a woman, and a lot of women feel this way, that if characters or people don't have any interaction with each other or any chemistry or any storyline, the sex doesn't turn you on. It's not attractive. It's not cool. It's not fun. It's just like
you need a story to it.
But right. Okay, and the thing is with a lot of animated porn, at least stuff that I have seen or heard of, it is that there's a story. Sometimes there's magic, there's dragons, there's like people living in kingdoms and fighting and then having sex and banging each other.
We're totally getting into the difference between what activates women and men sexually. Because none of the any element of that.
If you think about that, like I would like there's no like real porns out there that are like, yes, I'm a princess and I'm gonna fight with a sword and kill whatever, and then I'm gonna go bang my dude. Like that doesn't exist.
That is not true at all. I watched that one this morning. Like with the Nika, your knowledge of porn is
severely lacking,
incredibly shallow. Like there is every type of porn that you can possibly conceive out there. It does exist.
The only thing that the animated stuff has over real stuff is that real life has certain like hard restrictions, okay, that you can get away with in the fantastical world of hentai.
Yeah, I mean, but those are all. But they're all creepy.
Really
yes,
weird.
they are.
They're all creepy restrictions.
They are.
They're all restrictions that make sense. Where it's like you have to be an adult to fuck on camera, and they're like, yeah, but we're gonna draw 13-year-olds, and you're like, stop it, anime.
No, that's
stop.
bad too. That's bad too. That's bad.
Okay, but she's actually a 20,000 magician. It's fine.
She just looks like she's 12.
Am I wrong though? Like, am I? Because that shit happens. That shit happens, right?
You can see the difference because again, that's what the animated stuff has against real stuff is that there's these walls. It's like you cannot rationally go beyond that in real life, and your mind knows that.
That's why it exists for that reason.
That's why I think your mind can't grasp it is because you're a rational human being.
I mean, maybe,
but there are creepy, sick fucks out there who are like, no, I'd actually like to see someone get fucked to death by a tentacle.
But like,
I mean, do you not?
No. I mean, if I want a good laugh, like that seems like something funny I'd watch, but no, not to get my dick hard. Sorry, like that. I don't understand it. I've never understood people who were like attracted to an animated character.
This Reddit poster's right there with you. He doesn't do it for sexual gratification either.
Yeah, he says that. He says it's not. He just wants to look at it because he finds it attractive and admires.
It's not for sexual gratification. It's not for beating off. He just admires
he just wants
it.
To see it naked.
I agree with Nika. I want to slay a dragon and then go bang my dude.
Who was that?
Who doesn't want to slay a dragon?
Was that Carletta?
No, that was new DM Yumi.
Oh.
But like, am I wrong? Who doesn't want to go slay a dragon and then go have sex?
Yumi,
Who wouldn't want that?
Yumi, I'll send you a new DM.
It's not about puss, all right?
Goes down in the DMs. Anyway, so yeah, this is fucking weird. Like the whole concept is weird to me. And I mean, I understand that there's probably no shortage of our audience that does like hentai or thinks video game characters are hot.
Kids no dick.
I think only recently, once we've gotten into like photorealism, have I started to think that there are video game characters that are attractive, but I think that they're generally modeled off of a real person.
Yeah. Nowadays especially.
Quiet, like the Lara Croft in the new Tomb Raider. No, see, that just seems like animated anime like 3D animated anime characters, and that does nothing for me.
It's
absolutely
so huge.
nothing. This has been a weird conversation.
It really has. All right, you know what? This is your fanfic of the day. You guys get no fanfic because we had this conversation.
Well, no, we need to continue the ball rolling.
Nope. And so that's it for the news. If you want to hear anything else, talk to Juxta, I guess.
What? We don't do that bit on the show.
If you want hentai recommendations, ask Juxta.
Lick my balls!
That's actually, I would say go to Nika. It seems like Nika's ready made with the hentai.
I might have a list of a couple.
Yeah, but they all have story in them.
No, but the thing is they actually, some of them, they don't. They try.
The stories make it better.
Nika just goes out of her way to be like, it's about the story and about the character development.
Some of them are.
And some of them are just.
If people are curious.
Some of them are just throat fucking.
I had a girlfriend who wanted to watch one, and that's how she sold it to me. Was the story? The story was this dude just kidnapped schoolgirls. Nope.
That's weird, creepy, aggressive, and nothing is okay about that.
You guys are weird. I want to slay a dude and go ban my dragon.
Thanks, Yoshi. Wait, is that Donkey?
That was funny. Good job.
Khaleesi? Anyway,
bend my dragon.
Banned.
Thanks. Appreciate the donation. Anyway,
that was good.
Yeah, that was real good. Anyway, that was definitely one of the weirder conversations that we've had here on the air.
Thanks, Reddit.
But if you'd like
That's where you find weird conversations.
If you'd like to give us your opinion on whether or not you find imaginary characters attractive or not, you can call us at Limit Break Radio on Skype.
Please don't.
810-515-8715. LimitBreakRadio.com/Discord.
Okay,
I'm actually more curious about this, asking people if they would actually put a nude mod in their 14.
This is the whole show.
I'm more curious about that.
It's not.
This is we're not even going to talk anything about Omega today.
Yes, we are.
We're just going to talk about nude mods and whether or not imaginary characters get your dick hard.
Okay,
strap in.
I'm okay.
We have 2 more hours of this.
Wait, if we only talk about whether or not they get their dick hard, that excludes half of our audience.
Or your vagina wet. Whatever.
Okay.
All right.
At least be equal, please.
Every girl has a dick.
I think you're just mowing past that comment.
Wait. Wolf 14 has a good point. Nude mod. How am I supposed to see my glamour?
The glamour. Your dick pops out of the glamour.
Good point. Anyway, so yeah.
There's no coming back from this, is there?
We'd love to know what gets your dick hard. Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
We've delved too far into the abyss.
All right.
I'm lost. I can't.
Professional radio guy, reset us, please.
Let's talk about Omega.
That was great.
Dicks.
Does Omega have a dick?
Dicks?
You know what? Actually, Melchithera brings up a really good point. We can actually help this person because we had an entire hashtag dedicated to just these types of pictures, and it's called Fapping the Realm. So go look up Fapping the Realm and fap your realm.
How is this going to help him at all? These aren't nude
He
mods.
said it's not for sexual gratification. He just finds it attractive and wants to witness it.
They're incredibly sexual situations.
So this is a furry hunt?
Yes.
I think we're going to...
And Hasio, you're now under furry suspicion.
Oh, Hasio's always been under furry suspicion.
You fox-eared asshole!
All 3 of them, I think. I think there's 3 Hasios in our community.
I know, right? Like, I can't keep any of them straight. Are you the one that's obsessed with Alex Maurer? I can't remember. Anyway, so let's talk about Omega, because that's a thing that happened. Patch 4.01 dropped, and let's take a look at some of the notes that we've got here, just to get an overview of what to expect when going into Omega.
Well, there isn't a whole lot to expect. Obviously, there is tokens, as always. They're never going to abandon that system. Average item level requirement is 295. And besides that, from what I've been told...
It's fun.
That's a glowing review.
It's fun.
Okay. The actual raids are fun, but I do agree with something the next thing says. If you want,
I was gonna say we got a really cool email here. If you remember, I think it was 2 shows ago. We read an email from Gigapantsu of Excalibur. He was the one that had sent the email back in March, and we read it and we're like, how fucking sad is it that 3-4 months later that this still holds true in an entirely new expansion?
Sure.
Right. So he heard that we had read his email, and he actually sent us a follow-up email in regards to Omega.
That's what's up, Gigapantsu.
Right. So this is a follow-up to my email from March that was read this past LBR regarding FF14's raids. What the fuck, Square Enix, you lazy piles of human excrement. I cannot believe you call this Omega nonsense a raid.
Well, that escalated quickly.
At least Alex had the decency of having environmental consistencies, but this is just nostalgia roulette. Like I said last email, they just made a boss, made a random circle arena, and there's our fucking raid. Enjoy. No trash, no place to even traverse for even half a second, nothing. I know that Savage Alexander was just bosses, but at least in normal, you would traverse the raid for a little bit before the inevitable circle arena. Omega doesn't even give you
That's
that.
where I agree with him.
I am so disappointed that this is what we are getting, and even more disappointed that the community seems okay with it. After completing all 4 normal Omega bosses, I visited a stream who will not be named and brought up my concerns to see if anyone mirrored my assessment. Of the 150 some odd people, I got 0 like-minded responses. All of them polar opposite. I was dumbfounded by this. I exclaimed that Omega is literally just nostalgia trials and that there is nothing now separating what a trial is and what a raid is. This is pathetic. I really hope I'm not the only one that feels this way, but after trying to put feelers out for what communities outside of LBR think, I'm starting to think I'm a part of the huge minority. Thanks for the read. I would have called in, but I work during this time. LBR is live, so this is the best I can do. Again, that is from Giga Pantsuit of Excalibur.
Thanks, Giga.
I do agree that the raids feel very separated and disjointed, and it's different because normal ones have always had a little bit of trash so you can run around and see the raid. This doesn't have that.
But that was always one of the biggest problems, especially when we started to talk about Alexander, because those were 4 separated areas, and yes, there was what felt like a little bit of continuity because you could, through the names of the zones, kind of trace where you were going through in fist. Alexander, right? Yeah. And I guess the first time through, that was kind of cool because you see this huge Alexander structure. Now, this raid's buried into the fucking ground, and a little bit reminiscent of what, in that way, like being buried that you have to go into it, a little bit reminiscent of Binding Coil. But the thing about Binding Coil is that it really did give you a sense of having a zone to go from one area to another. It gave you a sense of place. Every one of those zones, it felt like
we're in a digital space in Omega, so it's nuts.
Okay, wait, stop. Let's determine something right now. How deep into spoilers are we going?
I mean, not terribly.
But the thing is, there's not that. Okay, I would say don't say what happens in the last couple cutscenes because there actually is some like story stuff. Fair. But in terms of the
I know what you mean.
Look,
the basis of
names
the
of bosses.
We kind of get the setup. And
we've already dropped the last email that talked about X-Death, so I think that's the biggest spoiler that I was going to try to avoid.
Whatever. Who cares? Who cares?
It's
it's just
that's what I want to say. Why it was so awesome though, because I love Final Fantasy V and I was so excited.
Okay, so the only reason that this raid is so amazing is because it's another fucking attraction in this theme park.
Yeah.
No, it was actually the mechanics were really fun. I will say, in terms of basing the last Alexander normals to the normals of this, I thought that these were significantly challenging for a normal mode and more fun. So I'm not going to bitch until I see the Savage mode, then I'll bitch.
But that's the thing, though, is that this has no bearing on Savage mode. This has what we're talking about here. We're not talking about the difficulty. We're talking about the way that the zones or that the experiences are delivered. Because what this email is complaining about, and one that I understand, is that the raids now feel indiscernible from trial fights. What's the difference between this and going and facing off a primal?
Part of Omega's story is actually that you're completing trials for him.
No. See, here's the worst part is that the entirety of Omega so far is that it's a tournament.
Basically,
it's a tournament that Omega is hosting to find the strongest being
person.
Oh my god!
It's literally an anime fucking tournament.
No.
Right, so this is
Dragon Ball Z's World's Strongest? What the fuck?
The premise of the story, not going any farther, is that Omega is trying to find the strongest being in order to find something to compete with to better itself and then evolve as a being into a greater being. And so I do say, I mean, I would not be surprised now if the next raid we get fucking Sephiroth or Ultimecia or some bullshit, because why the fuck not?
Okay, and like this is the thing, like and the way that this fits in with the lore, because Yoshi Peace had said before that the only way he's doing like callbacks and nostalgia hits is if it makes sense within Final Fantasy XIV. And the way this makes sense is because Nero is saying, oh, I remember this folklore that Omega is getting, which recalls the tale of Alt-Roit, or recalls the tale of X-Death. And so hold on, Nika, and literally the story of Final Fantasy V is the folklore.
Yes.
This is the most lazy lore justification I've ever heard in my entire life.
Boo! I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool.
Boo!
Okay, it's cool like the very first time you do it, and then you stop and think about it, and you're like, wait, are you fucking serious?
That is so fucking lame.
So from 2.0, right, when we had Binding Coil, to Alexander, and now to Omega, they're literally doing less and less work every single time. We actually had big kind of sprawling zones that gave you a sense of space, a sense of the area, a sense of the zone in Binding Coil, and something that you could see out in the world. And then we got to Alexander where it's, okay, there's Alexander, now let's go into him. Very small areas that led you to a circle room. Now, we don't even get to see where it is because apparently it's in a digital space.
You're jumping into digital
You jump
aether.
into a portal and you're in this,
you're in a different
space. Yeah.
you're in the space between shards.
Yoshi, you are literally giving us less stuff. Like, what
look cool, though.
I don't fucking care if it looks cool. This is bullshit.
Database. Just living in the database. Wow.
Wow.
That's a reference I'm sure we're not getting.
It's a song, Nico. I assume. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will give them this. All of the zones look completely different from one another, so it doesn't have the Alexander syndrome where everything is just steampunk.
And it has remastered Final Fantasy V battle music, and it's so cool.
Okay, but just
Nika, you are part of the problem.
I'm sorry.
They temporarily placate you with like, oh, nostalgia, all cool things, and because for the first week or two people are all excited about it, they think, yeah, okay, this is good content, this is acceptable, and then 3 weeks later, everyone's fucking sick of it.
That's the thing, is that it's got the depth.
It's FF5, I love it.
It's got the depth of pita bread. Like, this is terrible.
And you know what's going to happen next turn? It's going to be Final Fantasy VI or Final Fantasy VII.
No, I think that too. I think we'll get Kafka Ultimate Share Sephiroth. I'm not even gonna pretend that that's not happening.
And you're
as much as I'm saying it's cool, I will say, like, compared to the complaint I made on the last show, how I was excited that maybe Nero being a part of this would mean it would tie into the lore of the world. Yeah, it's not. I am like, as much as I'm enjoying the story for what it is not what I was hoping it would be.
It's not even close.
Literally exists in a bubble.
All right,
yeah, it exists in a bubble.
The only thing cool about it is this idea that, oh, okay, guess what? Nostalgia, right? But this idea that Ultima is just like, oh, let's find the most powerful being and put you up against other quote-unquote powerful beings from folklore or whatever, that is lazier and honestly shittier writing than fucking Alexander. I would rather some girl trying to save her boyfriend from a fucking time loop than this.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree.
FF5 is much cooler than mine.
Nika, yes, FF5 is. But this is Final Fantasy XIV, and they're not even writing their own material now. They're using material from another fucking game, and the only reason they were like, oh, that's cool, is because we like FF5, not because the writing's good for this game.
Think of all the people that have no context for Final Fantasy V and what this does for them. Nothing.
Right.
I don't know. Some of the later cutscenes I actually thought were written pretty well.
Yeah, okay, but
we're not going to spoil.
But yeah, there is more story, and there is more.
I think could change.
There is more plot twists to happen, like outside of the whole tournament arc. But that's just.
Are you having to infer from that?
No.
Like, are you having to make some logical jumps to go?
No.
This may end up being okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Oh, there is actually like some story with Omega that is not to do with the tournament. That is actually to do with how Omega might affect the world.
Okay.
Like, it actually has a thing.
Because the thing is that we said the same thing about Alexander. Like, oh, there's plot threads in here that if they go this way with it, it could be cool. And I mean, like, it doesn't happen. Like, that never. Whenever we see that opportunity, it never happens.
They have the opportunity to do so much, and they fall flat on their fucking face.
What I do want to say is Crystal Tower, I think, did it well, though. Like, they took what was FF3 essentially.
Did they?
And look, like, if you're going to put stuff from another game into this game, okay. They took a trial. They made it their own. They took the same thing but changed it and let you explore it. They gave you multiple bosses, but they made it, the 24-man rates you could explore. This was literally just boss.
This is the problem I have, Anika. I'm glad that you just brought me up and reminded me of this. You're right, because Crystal Tower was essentially the same sort of thing, right? But Crystal Tower was removed from like the MSQ and stuff like that. It was the first time that we got like this off raid, right? That really that sort of fits in to the theme park aspect of Final Fantasy XIV, right? But this is supposed to be our MSQ raid, right? The one that they said is going to tie into the MSQ the same way that Binding Coil sort of did. It's going to have an impact, right? And they can't even come up with a real original story for it. They have to copy half of it from different Final Fantasies.
See, I'm not sure
that seems so lazy.
I mean, that's why the last few cutscenes kind of make me hopeful. However, like that's just giving us the story for the individual bosses. Like Omega's like, okay, I heard about this character from this story, so here, fight it and see. But there's more going on with what Omega actually is, so that could tie it into the world.
Yeah, so the bosses, they have zero lore and stuff, but there is things surrounding Omega, which is the problem.
Has its own lore that's different from the bosses.
There is stuff that happens surrounding the problem, which is 14, but the bosses themselves, all the stuff that's in the raid, that is in a bubble.
One of the problems I think we had established the last time that we talked about this rating from that email was this idea that in Alexander, the bosses themselves meant nothing. Not in the same way that like Nail meant something to Binding Coil, right? They were just random ass bosses. So I guess in that sense, they now give bosses meaning.
Sure.
But is this
outside the context of Final Fantasy XIV?
Right, exactly. So is this even acceptable? The fact that they're like, oh, FF5 boss, ha ha ha.
But
is that any better?
And here's the thing, though, is that we're going to get a double dose of this because the Evilise is the full.
Oh, I am so raging right now.
But see, I'm hoping that Evilise does it better.
Why would you?
If they just take the boss from 12 or the boss from Tactics and stick it in there, that's not what, if they do it more like Crystal Tower, where it's actually like Cloud of Darkness and like the other people of Crystal Tower actually, even though it was separated from the MSQ, had a purpose in 14's world.
But why?
If they can make Evilise feel like that, then I'm fine with it.
Why would you expect that at this point?
Because they did it with Crystal Tower.
I mean, yeah, but they also did Binding Coil of Bahamut in that same area.
Everything has gone down.
And it seems like, everything's taken a hit in quality. We're already getting our nostalgia itch scratched by the MSQ raids. Why do we need a double hit of nostalgia? And I'm going to actually go even further and say that I'm really genuinely concerned for Eureka at this point. Because
I don't know what the fuck to think about that.
Given everything that we have so far, it seems like Eureka is just going to be for... I mean, it just seems like Diadem. It just seems like Diadem, except now you have to go in there because of the
relic weapon.
The relic weapon,
opposed to last time 2.0 and 2.x and 3.x, where the relic weapon funneled you back into older content to make it so newbies can have a decent queue time.
Right.
But now they're abandoning that concept because
they're really taking the theme park metaphor like as far as they possibly can. It's in both of the raids now. This and Nika, you seem to think that like in the next turn or the next set of raids that they're even going to go past the FF because if the final one is X.
Final Fantasy V is done.
Yeah, so now
I think that this is the FF5 one, and it's very easy for them to now go and say, well, there's this other storyline.
They are really dialing it in and just completely ripping off all the other Final Fantasies.
Yeah, this is so uninspired.
Stormblood, more like Storm Nostalgia.
I mean,
the expansion.
Kahlo, I think you hit the
Electric Boogaloo?
I think you hit the nail on the head. This is lazy. It's supremely lazy, especially for a development team that, as we saw in that no-clip documentary, they can get their shit together and be able to make something that's really fucking incredible. And I think it's disappointing. I don't know where the problem lies. I don't know if the problem is with management and they're forcing a whole bunch of nostalgia trips on the dev team, or if the dev team is just out of ideas, because that's what this says to me, is that we're done. We're out of ideas.
I'm holding management responsible, and you know what? It's going to come back to this a lot. So I hope you guys get used to hearing this, right? But as players of this game, I think that we deserve some original content, that they should really put their heads together and think of something compelling that hasn't been done before. And why? Because you should, in Yoshi's words.
But they also should have ties and Easter eggs and things like that.
Easter eggs is one thing.
Yeah. Easter eggs, that's one thing, but we're being bludgeoned over the head with this nostalgia trip bullshit. And I agree with you, Kahlo. I don't want all of these other different Final Fantasy games in FF14. Like, winks and nods to that shit is fine.
Cool.
Taking a boss character from another game and putting it as a boss in a dungeon, that
whatever, fine.
Yeah, you know what? You know what an Easter egg is? Castrum, Albania, where all the bosses were Magitech facility bosses. That's an Easter egg.
There you go. Instead of calling it the Magitech facility.
Yeah.
And being super on the nose about it.
And just throwing out all the lore attached to that and just being like, oh, you're going into...
No, and the first boss in the 70 dungeon, story dungeon. That's a pretty good nod to 7.
Or if you go into your settings and it shows like the tells, and the tells are between like FF7 characters. That's an Easter egg.
Right. Centering your raid around a theme, of a previous Final Fantasy game.
Didn't you say too that the way that they talk about the folklore is that like FF5 was like one of the
it was a story.
What was one of the eras or something?
Yeah, it was one of the calamities or astral areas.
Is that really
what?
Yeah, it was like one of like the first ones, so it was like thousands of years ago.
But they said it was at least allude to folklore from then. They don't know if it's a fiction. They even say like, oh, Omega's
it could be
creating
fiction, it could be
fictional
true.
characters. Yeah, they don't know.
Omega doesn't know, but Omega doesn't care.
Mog was in FF5, right?
6.
Oh, okay. Because remember, there was that time when you're in Mog Home where they talk about Mog, the Dragoon warrior of Eld.
Yep.
If the final review, or the final reveal of this game is that we've been playing it's been the same planet, just but a different cycle every.
I don't think so.
TV developers must have flawed parses for all Final Fantasy games.
Thanks, Yoshi.
Thanks. If we've just been playing the same world in every Final Fantasy game and it's just a different era, I'm going to be fucking pissed. I'm going to be so fucking pissed.
I don't think that's
But what if it's a different shard, too? That makes a difference.
No.
Granted,
It just makes it lazier. Like one of the things that was great about the Final Fantasy games was the fact that they were disconnected from one another. Like, making a finite connection between them, I think is I think that
Dissidia.
That's depressing to me. I don't know. I like the idea that every time you start a new Final Fantasy game, it's just a completely different world.
All right, well, look.
You don't have to connect everything. Not everything needs to be a fucking unified universe.
Cinematic universe. We need to do what Marvel's doing. There is at least, I think, one solace we can take from this. Juxta, at least the glamour's cool, right?
Sorry.
Really?
I
haven't got enough gear to judge that yet. I haven't paid that close attention.
You can put it on the glamour.
You can try it.
Yeah,
you just try it on.
I haven't.
You wanna tell us about it?
Do I have to?
Yeah, you do.
Because it's so fucking bad.
Why?
Come on.
It's like, okay, so you remember
it's Genji gear. That's like epic level
gear.
Legendary stuff.
Do you remember the Crystal Tower raid and the gear sets from that?
Yeah, they were pretty bad.
Oh, they were great.
They were
compared to Genji gear. The caster gear has a fucking satellite dish on their head. What? On their fucking forehead.
Wait.
First of all, how is that Genji gear?
Because Japan.
Is it an actual satellite dish? Like, what is the actual thing?
It's a fucking reference to some stupid Japanese samurai bullshit.
Oh.
I saw like a very small picture that was very, very pixelated though because it was on my phone. But basically, Aniro, guess what? We all get to be samurais.
See, this is what I was saying. Nika,
we're all samurais now.
Nika, this is why I was yelling at you when we had the bullshit introduced to the cash shop before Stormblood hit, and you were like, "Oh, it just looks like a kimono. You're getting ready for Stormblood." Every piece of gear is going to look like this. For now, this entire expansion, all of the gear is going to look like it just spent the last 6 months in the back of a closet of a guy who owns way too many samurai swords.
I don't think so, though.
We.
Thank you, Cold Ass Honky.
Yes, Cold Ass Honky agrees.
I'm wearing the tome gear right now that's called the Alamegan Code of Fending, and this doesn't look weeby at all. I think it's cool.
Well, yeah, it looks like shit, though.
No, it doesn't. Look how and look,
you have
the
shield
pants are
tassels.
so cool too. Like if you take off the top and look at the pants, it has one leg and the other one's like cut up. Look how cool and sexy that is. I love it.
That is neither one of those.
I would rather be that fucking pig over there dancing.
I don't know. I think
he is slam dancing. like if Piggy McSquee was in the middle of a mosh pit, he would be
tearing it up.
He would, yes.
What has happened in this episode?
I'm gonna do this.
That's like a 15-second drop. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, but that was so appropriate.
It was. Anyway, so yeah, no, that's the thing. All of the fucking armor is going to look like it came out of a Akira Kurosawa film. Like, and it's not necessary either.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
And I hate that. Like that's one of the things that I think I was looking forward to the least about this expansion was just like everything is going to look so samey, and I don't think
any of it looks samey either. Like the samurai body I'm wearing too looks different. It looks cool, and I dyed it black. It was red to start.
You know, let me put it this way, because this is the problem I have with it. Okay, if it wasn't for stances or weapons, you wouldn't be able to tell whose armor was whose.
There you go. You know, which is weird for a Final Fantasy game because this is a series that ever since it went into like the PlayStation 2, like end of the PlayStation 1 into the PlayStation 2 era, has been way more obsessed with what your fucking character wears and having that be cool as opposed to designing a good goddamn game.
Guys,
and that to me has been one of the most critically like fucked up things at Square Enix, where they're like,
people still say glamour is the true end game and mean it. That's why.
Yoshi believes that.
No, but I mean, like, look at Final Fantasy 15. Like, none of those characters are wearing anything that
they're just wearing like punk. It's
and again, it looks like, hey, like we talked to a lot of fashionistas to be able to figure out how we're going to design our characters. Yep. And like one of the things, and again, you know, not to harp on 15, but I'm gonna, is that like when you changed fucking gear, it wasn't represented on your character. The only thing that was represented was the
you don't
goddamn
get body gear on your character. It doesn't even exist. You have like 4 outfits you can actually change.
Yeah. And that's Super Final Fantasy, right? Like that just boils down the essence of what I want from Final Fantasy, right?
Hold on, correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like this came from FF11, but I could be wrong, so just tell me if you guys remember this. But I remember, I thought it was in FF11, that one of the things that they thought of when designing characters' gears or the AF and stuff is they had this idea that looking at a silhouette of a character, you should know inherently what it is.
That was FF11, yes.
Yeah. Where did that go?
I don't know. Because after FF10, you start having this like halfway goth emo shit that starts penetrating into, you know, like the belt skirt from Lulu. Like, okay, cool. Like some fucking fat goth nerd came up with that.
But here's the thing,
design.
Lulu still had like a black mage look to her, though.
Yeah. And again,
Kamari was blue.
FF10.
Waka was... not wearing a shirt.
He attacked things with his ball.
FF10 still had Hironobu Sakaguchi attached to it, so there was some reining in of that shit. And then you fast forward to 13, where you've got
even 12.
Well, no, in 12 though. But
I'm fast forwarding past 12.
Well, the thing is, in 12, the characters were so like versatile on purpose. Like you could do anything with any character in 12. Nobody was set into
and it made it boring. And then you get to 13 where you've got more effort more effort being put into making the main character a goddamn model for Gucci or Prada or whatever the fuck whatever it is. Who gives a shit what it is? Something that no one on earth should spend that much money on. And like that to me is emblematic of everything that has gone wrong at Square Enix, where there's this like tight focus on aesthetic. I don't think that they can even armor evades that. Like, armor design has gotten so overly complex and stupid and ornate that I feel like it loses all fucking purpose.
It does. It all looks exactly the same.
It does.
I remember this was our biggest complaint with 1.0 also, when they didn't have like drop specific gear. It was like, every single tank looked the same, everyone looked the same.
It was an opposite problem.
Shit. And then they were like, okay, so we'll give everyone AF, and then everyone was happy because everybody looked like their job. And now that's been lost again.
Gone. I don't know where that shit went. But I feel like they're just giving us more glamour options, and I don't know.
It's not even good glamour options.
I'm over it.
How many more like white and blue armored things can I get on Paladin? To be honest, I'm kind of sick of them. I've had a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of them by now. Give me something black and spiky.
Nika,
I'm down.
You're tired of white gear? Tell me about your problems as a healer.
True story. All right, let's go to our phone lines. Alex Dragonsword of Zilera is hanging on the phone. What's up, Alex?
Hey.
Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Hey.
So, I mean, you're going on about the whole nostalgia thing. Like, for me, I've never actually played any game before 14. I've just seen them played.
People like that exist.
Say what you will about that, but that's what I've done.
Okay.
So I'm not really understanding all this nostalgia stuff, but I do understand that they fucking locked. It's like, all those complaints about Samurai. It's like, oh, we want Samurai to be a tank. Looked at the fucking Omega gear. That's where they put your Samurai tanky gear. That's where they put it. They put it behind Omega.
Yeah, well, now a Nero can be a Samurai tank if he wants to. And
oh, boy.
Nika, just get this gear for your Paladin and pretend you're a Samurai with a shield.
Oh, boy.
A Samurai that's rolled around in dirt.
You know what the other problem is too, when you take old like nostalgia stuff like this and then put it in the newer game, people are like, oh well, I've never played those games before, so now I'm the one who gets to be able to do this stuff, right? That's how you end up getting these people that hear like these boy bands or whatever do covers of Michael Jackson, then hear the originals like, oh, they're ripping off that band that I like, this Michael Jackson guy. What a wannabe.
Who's this Paul McCartney faggot? Like, I've actually
honestly,
I've seen that on Twitter.
If this raid got anybody to go and pick up FF5, I consider that a win.
Literally, I don't think it would ever. I don't think it would. I don't think it would.
Final Fantasy V.
One person.
Final Fantasy V existed before Final Fantasy 14, so if they wanted to actually go, or before this raid happened,
but
so
again,
if they wanted to go play Final Fantasy V, they would have done that before.
But like our caller just said, some people haven't played other Final Fantasy games before, so now if you're seeing it, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, these bosses seem kind of cool. Well, maybe I'll go play the game.
Let's actually ask Alex, has this inspired you to want to check out any of the other Final Fantasy series?
I mean, a little bit, but it's like,
I bet you
have
probably
no idea how many people I've already, like, in the first week are like, oh, I hope fucking at 8, like, Deltascape V, like, 8 or whatever is fucking Sephiroth.
Oh my god, these people are the problem!
They really are.
Like, I don't care.
Is this our Final Fantasy VII remake?
It's like, you want to fucking play, so you want to fight Sephiroth, go play Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
Thank you.
The thing is I mean, it just I think my biggest problem with it is that it is lazy. It's from a creative standpoint, it's creatively.
I don't know, creating mechanics.
It's
for
creatively
Sephiroth, I think
devoid.
would be creative, but
okay.
Oh God,
oh, no,
Nika,
wait, hold on.
Nika, no,
if it
don't
doesn't
do
have
this.
a 12-minute supernova animation, I don't fucking want it.
Jeez. You know what was
if he doesn't start by killing our girlfriend in real life, then I don't want this fucking fight.
But I just got one.
You got to have real stakes, man. Real stakes. But
if you don't have a girlfriend, you can never raid.
That's right.
I don't have a girlfriend.
That's right.
You can never raid, Nika.
Go get one.
Well, you're gonna be dead anyway because it's gonna kill Senpai.
You don't have to worry about it.
It's gonna kill both of us then because we're each other's girlfriends.
Senpai is a man.
I'm just gonna pay a hooker to die.
Look, see, Nero, I can't.
Wow.
That just got dark.
I keep going back to this level of laziness because even this aside, right? When we look at like the overall schematics and the overall planning of the expansion, we know that we're getting, for example, less dungeons. Okay, more compelling content. But even within what we're still getting, it looks like less work is going into even that.
Yes, I agree. And that's the thing that I was saying is that, like, you know, if you're gonna come out and say that, look, you're getting one less dungeon this go round, and you know, even though we're spending more money, you know, the content is gonna feel smaller. Like, you're gonna have to, like, what we do get, you're gonna have to knock clearly out of the park. And again, I feel like they're running out of shit. They're running out of ideas, and they're starting to retread stuff. Obviously, they're starting to retread other Final Fantasy games, and I mean, like, I would listen. This may not be a popular opinion, but I'm going to throw it out there anyway. I honestly think if it would have taken you more time to make a better expansion, take the fucking time. Take it. Take 6 months, take another year. I'm fine. I mean, getting no content for that long is problematic for a game that asks you for a monthly sub. But honestly, more work needed to go into this shit at almost every level. Mm-hmm. And again, like the subtracting of content in the abstract was problematic. And now when you get your hands on it, it's not as good. It's not a step up. It's not a step in the right direction. It's either the same old shit or it's a step down. That is a huge problem. Now, this is just measuring sentiment among four longtime FF14 players. But if we can point it out, I know that we're not alone. You know what, Alex, I'll include you in that. 5 FF14 players that can identify it. Like, this is hugely problematic. And if you don't think that this is going to come back and bite the community in the ass when it comes to just number of people logging in, you're in for a rude fucking awakening midway through patch 4.1.
Zeres Eso says, I feel bad because I'm a sucker that dropped the money on the collector's edition, and now I'm just playing WoW. And there's actually a parallel I'd like to draw there, right? Because you mentioned they should have taken more time on it, right? And some people might go back and point to the release of 3.0 and the...
If you have bangs, Sephiroth should end your life.
Wow. Yes.
And then the, 7-8 months we had to wait till 3.1. And people made a big deal out of that.
Yeah.
And maybe Square said, well, we don't want to repeat that. But the problem is
when we got 3.1, we got fucking Lords of Verminion.
It was a wet fucking fart. And so that's the problem, Square Enix. If you take your time and give us something good, we don't mind. That's what World of Warcraft does well. They might have a fucking year between their last patch and their expansion, but when it finally comes out, they've really changed stuff around and they've really delivered on stuff that gets people talking and gets people playing, okay? Right. That's what you need to do.
Even if it is only for 3 months.
Sure. People are already leaving your game after 2-3 weeks.
Right. That's sad. That's to me, that's legitimately sad. And most people can check out without even bothering to experience Savage and not miss anything. Not miss a goddamn thing.
Yeah. Guess what, guys? I've already played through Omega Deltascape when I played FF5.
I mean, not necessarily true, because the boss mechanics are pretty cool. But here's the problem, though. Like,
by the way,
when I first heard... Oh, go ahead.
By the way, Alex, thanks for the call. Appreciate hearing from you. If you want to call Limit Break Radio... Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
Like, when I first realized that it was going to be Final Fantasy V bosses, I was super pumped and I was super excited. I'm like, man, maybe I'll actually play Savage mode because this is actually interesting to me. But the problem is I've already done all the fights. Sure, they're different. It'll be harder. Fine. But A, I've done the fights. And B, I got the story.
Yeah.
So now I have no motivation to do anything because gear...
Best in slot.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I think that if they had said Savage mode, like they didn't have a normal mode, and they're like, Savage mode is going to be FF5 bosses people would want to do it because of the nostalgia, and that would drive people into the raid.
Yes,
I agree.
Actually, you know what?
I agree. They missed an opportunity here, and they just gave it away.
Yes, I want to see how they put XF14. I'm going to go to Savage Raid. Yeah, no one's going to do it now. I mean, people will still do it if they're already planning on doing
Juxta,
it.
don't you want to be able to dye the satellite dish on your head?
I want to die when I wear it.
Damn.
That's fair. You know what? Coming from Juxta, who makes the most ass-ugly backwards glamour, that's saying something.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord to call in. Do you agree or do you disagree? Do you think that we're being too cynical, too jaded? Do you think that Final Fantasy XIV doesn't have a problem? That it's totally fine for them to rip off older Final Fantasy games and in a way that seems really lazy on its face? If you want to disagree, that's fine.
Please.
By all means, call in. We'd love to hear from you.
We don't want an echo chamber.
That's right. Limit Break Radio.
We don't want an echo chamber.
Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
My problem with what Cecil is saying, what if Savage Mode was all different bosses? My original thought with the tournament mode that Omega is doing, how perfect would it be that we pass his trials to move on to the harder trials, which are Savage Mode, which are all new bosses?
No.
Like, to me, they have such perfect potential to make Savage Mode a continuation of the story from normal mode.
Sure. That would be awesome.
They're not gonna do it.
You'll get a very, very, very brief cutscene where it's like, oh, Omega is calling us again, and we have to fight, otherwise the bad thing happens.
Yeah, because, I mean, the dynamic nature of a setup like that, at least narratively, you could do anything with that.
They could easily make that a sequel, whereas
you
now
know that's
we're on
not
the
gonna
harder
happen.
trials.
You know that's not going to happen. It's absolutely not going to happen.
But they have potential to do that.
Every time we've said that, they've never realized it or they've never acted on it.
Way back in 2.x when we had that Gilgamesh fight and we were like, oh man, I can't wait to see what the Savage Mode is like of this trial.
I remember that.
Remember?
Let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Mazius of Adamantoise, who's a first-time caller. What's up, Mazius? Thanks for calling Limit Break Radio.
Thanks. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Long-time watcher. I'm doing great. I love what you guys are doing.
Thanks.
I wanted to touch. You guys were talking about the Final Fantasy V nostalgia throwbacks, and I'm the complete opposite of the caller that you had before. I've played them all, and to be honest, the nostalgia of the reach back was actually really nice for me. Seeing X-Death as a final boss really blew my mind.
But is that what you want from an MMO though? I mean, like having an element of nostalgia is fine, and you know when it was relegated to a raid, like one raid, or when it was relegated to maybe a couple of dungeon references, you know what I mean?
Or the triple triad, or the triad up in Oz's Law, where it was integrated into the story and it made sense within the lore of Final Fantasy XIV.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's done tastefully.
Taking and adapting something from an older Final Fantasy game to make it unique to FF14 is really cool. I love, Juxta, your example of the triad, because I think it is the perfect example, because they brought that into FF14 in a way that felt original and meaningful. Now, granted, they didn't end up doing much with it except for being single encounters, but you know they could have done something a lot cooler with that. And just decided not to. But even on its face, that's way more acceptable, and I can get way more into a concept like that than just, oh, well, you're being transported to different dimensions, and literally this is part of the FF5. Like, it seems to me, in a setting like this, that pure raw nostalgia button is not one that you want to hit, and more you want to hit that through adaptation, and you want to hit it through making it, taking a twist on it and making it unique to you, to your world that you've been making. And that seems like what they've done with Crystal Tower. It seems like that's what they did with the Triad. But this seems like they've now taken the approach of like, yeah, we can use the older history in other games, but they haven't really adapted it to become intrinsic to FF14.
You're right. I see your point there. subtlety is better in my opinion when you're talking about it. A boss might be a little over the top. The little things like the themes, like when you get the Magitech Mountain, the Terrace theme, the Doma Castle theme, really hit me. Your subtlety is nice.
Right.
I hear people talking about Sephiroth, and it makes me sad. The real villain I would love to see in this harkens to 6. I would love to see some sort of Kefka.
Oh, I've had a lot of people say that every time I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Sephiroth. They're like, no, Kefka.
I mean, listen, as a fan of FF6, would I like it? Like, yeah, I think I would. Like, I'd be like, Kefka, that's cool. But at the same time, it's like, it's so fucking, and I hate to harp on immersion out of anything, but it is really immersion breaking, especially if you're creating a persistent world, a persistent online world that is supposed to be its own thing.
Yes.
That's what I want to be invested in. I don't want to have to, and again, going back to our previous caller, Alex, who didn't have the context for stuff like this, all of those references and those little touches end up falling flat. And I think, and I wish I had gotten a chance to ask Alex this, is I think they may not mesh well, like they may not mesh well with the consistent elements of Eorzea or the consistent elements of FF14 that make it FF14, that make it a unique world in the Final Fantasy franchise. And if this is just going to be a whole bunch of references to older games, like I don't need that. We had Record Keeper for that.
Yes, maybe they're using this to get it all out of the way now. That we gave you all your
Nika, no, stop.
I have to echo a Nero here because this is systemic to the problem we have. All right, look, we say that the jump potion by itself, not a big deal. But when you look at all the sweeping changes that they're making to the game in that same vein, it becomes a big deal. So similarly, yeah, it's cool when you see a little Easter egg or if they put Kefka in or Cloud there or whatever. That's fine by itself. But when that's the only content they seem to be adding now is theme park attraction after theme park attraction, it stops being Final Fantasy 14 and it starts becoming, Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
3D.
Look at all of the Final Fantasy stuff that we have.
Yeah, this is the most Final Fantasy ever Final Fantasied.
Okay, Jim Link has a point though. What if SE is forcing them to because of the 30th anniversary shit?
No, I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I don't buy it even for a half second.
I believe Fusion X had said that the Evilist raid is supposed to have more actual lore tie-ins than more similar to Crystal Tower did.
That is what he said. But at the same time, though, again, the best way that the best model that we could model that off of is Crystal Tower, right? Like they did it okay. It was an acceptable way that they did it in Crystal Tower.
It was also one of the first times that we had saw that whole sort of theme park thing, though. So it was fresh. It was new. It was exciting. It was Crystal Tower. But again, now within one expansion cycle, we're getting FF12, FF6, FF7, FF8.
Yeah, it does seem it seems very tired. Like as a player and as a fan, it seems both lazy and I'm tired of it, right? Like we've already had 4 years of trying to hit the nostalgia button through other ways, and it's like now we're really gonna smack that motherfucker over and we're gonna beat you over the head with nostalgia. We heard you like nostalgia, so we put nostalgia in your nostalgia.
There's the old metaphor about beating a dead horse with a stick. I feel like now Square Enix has picked up the dead horse and they're beating us with the horse.
That's right. I agree. I agree. It is.
I still really love
it's heavy,
but when you
so heavy-handed.
It's still kind of fun. So.
Nika,
we will beat the happiness out of you if we have to.
No one's saying that it's not fun. No one's saying that it's not that mechanically these aren't well-designed fights.
We deserve better.
That's the thing. Is that it just
I don't know. I was getting mad that there were references to other games, but not 5. So.
Okay, you know what? I think that's sort of indicative of the problem.
Right.
5
You're
aside,
willing to give it a pass because it's 5.
Yeah. So you admit there is a problem there then, Nika.
The problem was that they were giving other games service and not the ones that
Oh my God.
Nika, that was not the problem. That was not the problem.
Nika, the problem is you dressed up as a Geomancer once.
What?
Didn't you cosplay as a Geomancer from Final Fantasy V?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was a dark time in my life. I tried to forget it.
I thought you were talking about FF11. I was like, no, fuck that. But
so
11 doesn't have Geomancers.
I've done a lot of FF5 cosplay jobs, like the really stupid ones. I've done Beastmaster too. It's really silly.
So
sheep pajamas.
Little. Are you admitting a little bias there? A little bias.
I'm just no. I'm just saying that maybe that because other games got love and 5 didn't. I was really excited that all of these were getting.
If it hadn't
I was excited to the point where every time I got to a new boss, I freaked out. Posted a screenshot on Facebook. Posted the wiki link of FF5s and how they compared, and I was like talking about it the entire time I was doing it. That's how
shameful.
If it had been FF7 right out of the gate, like
Sephiroth.
Yeah, like Sephiroth was
and Cloud at the same time.
See, I don't think
you're dropped into the middle of the battle between Sephiroth and Cloud.
I wouldn't have been cool with that. Like, look, like I said, the little Easter egg things, like when you go into the tell menu and like the little examples are like, you know, Cloud talking to Tifa and in a tell she says, "Stop, my eyes are up here." Like that kind of stuff is cute. That's an Easter egg. Right. But if they would have been like, "Look, here's a raid, help Baird and Cloud defeat the Scorpion army," I'd have been like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
But that's exactly what I'm saying is that Nika, like, yeah, you're kind of exemplifying the problem here because I think anyone who likes FF5 is way more willing to give this a pass and not even acknowledge the problematic nature of repeating content. Like that's, I think,
my issue isn't with the repeating content. It's that the story itself right now doesn't seem to tie into the lore as much as I was hoping it would. Like it does have some kind of repercussions that seem like it could affect the world later on, but again, that's only like 1 or 2 cutscenes we get at the end. We don't really see it. I was like, because Nero's here, now this is going to tie into the overall Garlean lore. No, it's not.
No,
so that's my issue, of course. Like, I'm always going to have an issue with that. That was my issue with Alexander. But in terms of what it is, I'm still like...
Why are they doing stories like this? Like, why are they developing stories like this when we know that
there's so much
could be
other
so much
things
better?
they could tap into?
Yeah. There's plenty that I want to know about the world.
You know what? That's it. I'm gonna.
Why are we going to other worlds?
All right, this is what I'm gonna task our listeners with. All right.
To be fair, we're not on a world. We're between worlds.
No, it doesn't matter. This is what I would like everyone to go post in that submission thread. So when they see this question, 20, 50 times, maybe they'll actually put it on there, right? With all of the lore and all the land and all the different places that you could explore and probe for, information, for lore, for stories, why is it that in both the major raids of this expansion, you decide to explore other Final Fantasies?
Yeah.
There's such a wealth of knowledge out there. Look how much of the map is shrouded in mystery, but instead let's go to the fucking digital space.
Yeah, you know how much, too, of the different places we've been pissed off that have been relegated to dungeons, like how Zelphatul was an entire dungeon. Give us a raid in Zelphatul and give us lore about the Ixals. I guarantee you everybody would be doing it.
Like that's the thing is that there's almost I can't see a reason for this other than everyone on the dev team would get to knock off at 5 o'clock and not 7. Like that to me, that's the difference.
But they're
that's
working
the fucking
so hard.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, they haven't announced
I'm fucking sure that they're working so hard.
They have not said that they're taking a 3-month break, so that's something.
No, you know what? This is why they had to work so hard and couldn't get that extra PvP stuff in there. The dev team had to replay FF5 to determine what they were going to put into FF14.
Listen, I'm not, and I don't want to heap all of this on Yoshi P, because there was something that I learned through this no-clip documentary that I thought was really important, that I feel like Yoshi P might be a dude like me. Like, he really gets activated by the work, right? Like, it's not the reward, it's the work that is the fun part for him.
Less working.
But I feel like what this fucking development team that he's been saddled with is do they hold the same hours as a bank? Like, are you there for 4.5 hours and then leave? Like, that's the part that I don't understand.
And they get an hour lunch.
He said something really important, like, towards the end, where they were like once A Realm Reborn came out and it was successful, they started talking about Heavensward, and the development team came back to Yoshi P and was like, I thought you were going to give us a break. I thought that at some point it would slow down. And that's what I think is the thing that he's balancing, that Yoshi P is balancing, that might be the biggest challenge here, is he's balancing the expectations of the fans with the fundamentally lazy dev team that doesn't want to put in the work and effort to save their own jobs. Like, to me, and I don't know if that's just indicative of the way that they shuffle personnel from project to project, where people who don't have talent at things don't actually ever lose their fucking job. But to me, that's a problem. Like, if your organization can't cut its dead fucking weight and, you know, the people that you bring in only want to work 6 hours a day, sorry, I don't get that fucking luxury. There are days where I work 16 hours a day. I don't want to fucking hear about how, oh, boo-hoo, it's so hard for me to balance an MMO. It's so hard to make games. It's such a challenge. You've been doing this for fucking 8 years, and you've been given a second chance at it. Motherfucker, act like it. Act like you got your second chance. Act like this entire audience didn't just run from you the next time that you had put Final Fantasy XIV on a fucking box. Because that's what Logic dictated. Logic said, hey, if you put Final Fantasy XIV on another fucking game box, no one's going to buy it because you spent all of your goodwill. But somehow you built that back up to a point where people trusted you and wanted to invest in your fucking product. And then what do? You turn around and in 2 fucking expansions, you do the same hackneyed shit over and over again to the point where everyone's so fucking bored 2 weeks out of the fucking expansion that they don't even know what to do anymore. That's sad. That's not even WoW levels of sad, right? WoW gives you at least a little bit more time to enjoy yourself before they go, yeah, well, we don't really care if you come back. Final Fantasy XIV doesn't care if they even get the first 30 fucking days out of people. They just care if you buy the box and if you buy a jump potion. And that'll cover 3 months. That covers 3 months worth of fucking costs for them. So they've basically got your money there. They got you for 3 months. And now that your character's at max, that you've spent a couple of weeks leveling them up, maybe when there's another expansion, you'll spend another 2 weeks going through all of the story content and the shitty raid that they'll shit out, and then you'll be bored again. And you'll go and you'll fuck off and do other games. You'll play other games like Yoshi P told you to do. And again, I don't know if this is his fault or just a lazy, uninspired dev team.
If it is a lazy and uninspired dev team, I'm sorry, but that falls on whoever's managing them. It
yes.
does.
Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. But I feel like...
Okay, but do you really think that Yoshi P has the power to fire people in a Japanese company?
No. But he should be able to motivate and inspire them.
You can't motivate lazy shitheads.
Mazius still hanging on the line. Did you have anything to say before we let you go?
No, I really covered everything. I agree with the disjointedness of what you're talking about. I feel like it would be more fluid, but I see your points in the devs, but you really feel like what you're talking about. I tried the 1.0 that came out, and it was garbage. They really did create a second opportunity that they are kind of squandering.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's really what I wanted to leave with. You guys are great. I watch you guys every Sunday.
Appreciate it. Man.
And I'll keep tuning in.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Mazius of Adamantoise. We always love hearing from people, especially when they don't agree with us. And I can understand why nostalgia can be exciting. Like, I'm not saying that I totally don't understand the nostalgia appeal here of including FF5 into the raids. I just think it's lazy. I think it's
the way they did it this time.
I think it's just
this time is super, super lazy.
And that's disappointing because they can't. I think they can't afford to be lazy now.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Think about it this way: the whole raid to Evilist thing. Okay, fine. We're gonna get 3 separate, injections of one Final Fantasy. Same thing that they did with Crystal Tower, right? But the fact that right now we're theorizing that the Omega Raid could include 3 or 4 different FFs, how can anyone not think that that is lazy?
It is. It's the definition of lazy.
Even by comparison to other shit that we've gotten in the same expansion.
Honestly, I'd be okay with this if it wasn't the main raid. It's
sure,
fun. It's cool. The mechanics are fun, and I like the nostalgia. But if this was like a side raid,
You know what,
much
Nika?
Yes. And like this, I mean, the whole thing we've been saying is like we like the raid structure, but give us variety. Like, give us this as a nostalgia raid. Give it to us in the 8-man format. It's fine. It's fun. Give us something extra, also just something different too, because it's getting played out.
I agree wholeheartedly with that. Had this been the side raid, no problem.
Yeah.
The major raid that connects to the MSQ should also be helping us to explore the new expansion, aka Doma and Alamigo. And this is doing none of that. I mean, if it suddenly takes this weird-ass turn in whatever, the next one is, the Deltascape, whatever, where we pop up and now suddenly we're in Alamigo, that's going to be fucking weird.
Yeah,
the
I don't see
Deltascape, is that like a cuckscape?
No, Delta, Beta,
Alpha,
the Alphascape.
I'm sorry. Anyway, well, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Flettus of Maelstrom Radio. What's up, Flettus?
Hi, how's it going? I just had to take the Square Enix dick out of my mouth so I can come call you.
Wow. This is going to be a good call, guys.
I like you already.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited for this
Yeah,
one.
Are you sure you're not? Are you sure you're not going to pop that dick out of your mouth and shove it straight up your ass? Because I mean, we'll give you the opportunity.
That's sea swallows all, bitch.
and so do you. Anyway,
I didn't make the Venn diagram because
I know all about
Bismarck over there didn't listen to it. So, no, dude, the fucking goddamn. I'm of two parties here. Like the Omega difficulty, perfect, fine.
I agree.
Yeah, and the mechanics of the fight, great. Like they jumped up the mechanics this expansion. Perfect.
They're very good.
I'm there. My problem is that a raid should feel like a fucking raid. Like right now, I feel like I'm in a '90s movie inside of a video game, and it's not good because
my
just like
yeah, that's a really good comparison.
Oh, that is the best metaphor I've ever heard.
and it's not even a good movie about being in a video game. It's like the shitty '90s movie. It's like Super Mario Bros. Level of fucking.
Oh, excuse me, that movie was amazing.
You hurt me.
But
no, you're right. You beat the boss, and then it's like, oh, teleport you to the next area.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, and it's. I mean, you could have done so much more. Like, you had these cool teleporters, this whole fucking cool like digital landscape that you could have traveled through and fight these mobs. And we did that in a fucking like solo cut.
There's a solo trial
battle.
before you open it. Yeah,
it's a duty.
Yeah, and it's bullshit. I'm like, you could do
I
that.
thought it was kind of cool though.
Make it feel. It's cool for the solo part, but then you can also expand on that with 8 people.
And they
make those packs hurt, make them do some cool, like throw tons of mobs at us and make us really work towards getting towards those bosses. WoW does that phenomenally. Like, I don't understand how mythic level raiding, when packs of mobs come at you, you can fucking wipe your whole party on mobs. Not even bosses, mobs. We don't have that. You don't have that here. It's just like, queue for this, we'll go in. And it's the sad thing is that Alexander, at least with Alexander, you had some like pistons and shit that could hit you, and some like it was a little bit of travel
smoky things that you actually felt like you were somewhere inside.
The arena was alive.
Yeah,
and it felt like you were in a place.
And you don't feel like that at all here.
No.
And that's sad. They could have done so much more. Like, I don't care about the nostalgia part. I've played 5 and I don't like whatever. I don't give 2 shits. But you could have made it interesting. And you didn't. You just said, here are these bosses because we know you guys like Final Fantasy, instead of it being, hey, here's this cool fucking dope Omega giant fucking robot here, and we're gonna go inside and go figure shit out. And no, it's just like this.
Okay, you know what? No,
dumb
I'm
piece of crap.
That's what Alexander was there. Like,
yeah, I'm so glad that we didn't go inside Omega. That would
because we went
so
inside
bad.
Alexander, and every single boss in Alexander was original. I mean, or at least based on something that, and it felt original enough. And we were all bitching about those too. So
okay, but you know what? Even with Alexander, even though there was a lot of it that we complained about, there was some really good, cool
Brute
stuff
Justice
that
was
they
pretty
did.
awesome.
Right, Brute Justice was great. When we fought like whatever the dude's name was, and like the balls were teabagging us and rolling around, that was really awesome.
The cat and the heart.
Or even the one before that where you're in like that long rectangle, like the traps and shit come up. Like, at least the environment was interesting and added to the raid. Now it seems like we've taken another 2 or 3 steps back, and it's just a fucking circle again.
It's just a primal fight.
Ugh.
It's literally a trial.
Yeah, they feel like primal fights.
That's so disappointing.
There is nothing to distinguish a trial from the raid now. It's just four trials.
And the worst part is that it's like this weird thing, like Alexander was like, regardless of the story and regardless of the difficulty in the fights, like that was a step in the right direction of building a raid towards where it could have been. And this feels like, okay, well, we're doing this part right with the mechanics and the bosses and the difficulty, but we're also stepping back on the other stuff we did right with Alexander.
But
which is this, we're going like, it's weird. That's a bad mistake.
Like, isn't that, do you agree or disagree that that's emblematic of the way that FF14 in a larger sense has been developing, though, where it's like, okay, yeah, we're getting to the next expansion, but we're sacrificing a dungeon to be able to do that, right? Like, we have this reduction in workload where and again, it's not like it's not like someone was building an entirely new zone for a raid, like for a dungeon, right? Like throughout A Realm Reborn, we saw people reusing assets again and again, or reordering the way that the dungeon works. And you're telling me that you can't even fucking do that? Like, that was already a strike of like I was willing to give the benefit of the doubt when that was what was happening, but like that just seemed to be the beginning of this backslide of like, all right, well, you know, but even that was a lot of work. We're gonna do now just one whole less dungeon, and you're like, the fuck? Wait, no, that's not what I would like. Yeah, did we complain about how lazy things like Pharaoh Sirius Hard felt? Sure, but we were still glad to get them. Like, it's not, hey, we don't want this or we don't need it anymore.
It's do better.
Yeah, it's like, really?
And give us more variety. That's what I've been asking for.
And again, like that's the caliber of shit that I'm willing to give a pass on. Not this. Like this, like I think it's degenerated way too far. And that's what I've been saying, like, this whole time that we've been having this, like, slow backslide into easier content and making sure everyone can do everything and all of the, like, all of these design choices in video games that I'm not going to say are invalid, but aren't necessary, right? Like, I think that the efficacy of them is in serious question. So.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Flatus, thank you very much for giving us a call here. Why don't you plug Maelstrom Radio before you go?
Sure thing. You can find us on Twitter at Maelstrom_radio. You can find us on twitch.tv/Maelstrom Radio and maelstromradio.com.
So I have to ask, you all love Merleweb then, right? Because you're all from the Maelstrom.
I mean, I would
Merleweb's the
not
best.
want to get in them titties. Yeah. Well.
Okay. Thank you. There's too much Rogan and hate on this show. I needed some Rogan and love.
Listen, she's on the top 10 list of chicks I'd roll through and take the pound.
And stab.
Thank you.
Okay.
Murder.
All right.
Well.
All right. Thank you, Flatus. You can go ahead and put that Square Enix cock right back in your mouth. Appreciate you giving the show a call. But seriously, check them out. Maelstrom Radio. If you want to call Limit Break Radio on Skype, 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord. Something interesting that I've noticed is, every once in a while, I feel like we'll field a call where someone is ready to maybe put us in our place. And I'm not saying that Flatus was one of those, but every once in a while, when I feel like someone wants to try to push back at us, like we end up explaining our point so well that
no, I think what you're doing is bullying them into accepting your opinion over theirs. So you're actually a dick.
Is that what I'm doing? I don't think
that's what people in the chat think you're doing.
Really?
I mean, they haven't said it, but that's definitely the way I can definitely read between the lines.
I want people to call in and push back, but there's like 5 people in the chat that have all thought that if they called in to give us a dissenting opinion, that we would shut them down and not listen. Every single one of them. Like 5 people have said that in the chat. Like, please call us.
Spoiler alert, that won't happen.
That's the fear talking. That's what that is. That's the fear talking, because they're afraid of being wrong, right? Like, it takes a lot of guts to express an opinion in a public forum that you don't have to type first, right? Like, everyone can be a keyboard warrior. Not everyone has the testicular fortitude or the vaginal fortitude, vaginal fortitude. There it is. Take and take their thoughts and concisely organize them into a series of words and express them into either a microphone or a telephone on a platform that they know people are watching, right? Like, people can do this. No, people are totally willing to do it if they don't think people are watching, right? Like, if they may put out a YouTube video because they only get 12 hits, they're a little bit more empowered to say something that they might not otherwise say, and so they'll pop off at the mouth, right? Like, we do have this culture of, like, everyone makes things and everyone's a creator, and we express our opinions readily. The problem is that not very many people do that on a platform where they know a lot of people can hear their opinion and agree or disagree with it. So whatever you think about this show, I mean, I'm not here to argue with you. I'm not here to tell you that you're wrong in your assessment or your opinion of this show. But if you're going to criticize and say that we're going to shut you down and not give you the ability to talk, or that we're going to be assholes to you, you're clearly not listening to us rationalize all of the problems that we're pointing out. Kaz called up a couple of weeks ago, and again, we had made fun of him mercilessly on Final Encounter Cast, but he's one of the dudes that gets it. Like, he's one of the people who listens to the show, that understands what our sensibilities and our sense of humor is, that understands the joke and still is able to interact with the product, even if he's calling in and agreeing or disagreeing. So, Cass, thank you. I want to shout you out, but also I want to encourage all of these people who think that we're just going to shut them fucking down to give a call right now. Kooky, I'm going to say put priority behind any of these people that want to dissent, that want to dissent or have an argument or whatever it is, and let's fucking have it out. Like, let's have it out on air.
I'll say, though, I feel them that a Nero can be intimidating, and maybe you're just scared of getting talked over, but you have to hold your ground and fight back, and it's a much more interesting and fun conversation.
LBR history lesson, guys, okay? Remember when we had that big, huge Reddit war?
Yeah.
Right? We flamed the shit out of Reddit, and then one of their mods came on our show, and we had a civil discussion because he could actually... Right, because he could actually...
Hashtag dad.
Because he could actually
thanks, Cast.
put his thoughts into a coherent argument, and he had shit to back it up. The opposite of that is Darkstar, who called in and just repeated himself over and over and over again, and there was no substance to it.
Right.
So you're right. We flamed the shit out of him because he was a fucking idiot.
And if you don't call, really what you're saying is that I'm afraid of looking like an idiot, not afraid that you're going to be abused.
Yeah, in that case, that's fine. I get that. You don't want to look like an idiot? That's cool.
That's fine. I
And
understand.
especially if you think that your opinion is right and ours that's wrong, like, why would you feel like an idiot calling in? You should be thinking that you're going to make us look like idiots.
Yeah, right. Like, wouldn't
your
you,
fear is unfounded there.
Wouldn't you be excited to be getting one up on a radio
Nero?
show? Like, well, no, on LBR.
down.
Like, honestly. I would think that, we give the opportunity for people to call in every single week. We get all these fucking haters all over our YouTube comments or our iTunes reviews that want to sit around and bemoan what the format of the show is. But then, you give them an opportunity to either, make us look dumb or, even just be an active participant in the show, and they just don't take it. They crumble every time, and they offer all kinds of vacillating excuses. Well, my microphone sounds like shit, or you know what? Fuck you. Everyone's got a fucking phone. We allow you to call up by landline, for Christ's sake. Like, come on.
How many ways do we have to make it for you to call in?
Seriously. All right. Let's go back to our phone line, and I think MRU might be on the line. This is. Oh, really? I know. He's said he's threatened to call in a number of times, but has never done so. MRUA, is that you?
Guys?
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
Welcome. Yeah, I'm here, man.
What's up? Welcome to Limit Break Radio.
You. Hello.
All right. So, what are we wrong about today?
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, come on.
See, again.
Okay.
With this shit.
Then I guess just pout.
The floor is yours, man.
Tell
Go
us
for
what
it.
you want to talk about anyway. Go.
Oh, I love you guys. You're great.
Thanks.
Thank you for the show. That's all I got to say.
God, shut up.
God damn it.
Shut up. Did he just troll us?
The biggest fucking troll.
Yeah.
All right, get the fuck out of here.
This is the guy for like 7 or 8 episodes. Like, I'm trying to call in, but Cookie won't pick up the call. I'm trying to call you guys. Oh, so much for answering phone calls.
Jesus Christ.
You dick.
Jesus Christ. This is one of those people that sits there and argues in chat about everything, but yeah, he's like, it's just, I'm a big fan. I'm just kidding. You know, like he's the guy that'll call you a fucking faggot twat on Twitter, but then he's like, yeah, I just wanted to get your attention.
I'm almost proud.
Can I buy you guys
He's kidding. I think he's kidding now, though.
Almost.
That he likes us?
No,
Yes.
no. There was sincerity in his voice.
I heard it.
It's easier. Do it. Though there are conflicting ideas, we all want the same thing. A great Final Fantasy MMO.
I think that's true.
With
at the end of the
NSFW
day,
nude mods.
At the end of the day, that is what we want. All right. If you actually have something to call in about, Limit Break Radio on Skype 810-515-8715, limitbreakradio.com/Discord.
Jin375 says LBR is like CNN, fake news. Yeah. We are extremely fake news.
We never.
We're real
purposely
news.
twist actual facts, though.
We're not news, but we're real.
We're an opinion outlet.
This is kind of funny because we've never claimed to be news.
God, no, we don't.
We've never claimed to be accurate.
We have a news segment, guys.
Do you think it's because we have a news segment? Should we start like discerning like our news segment is now done. Now we're in our discussion segment.
And now
these are just
But
our
we
opinions.
do. We always say that's it for the news. We've always said that.
We do.
And
we just don't say that now we're actually giving opinions.
And now we're going to check out what's going on in FF14 fake news.
Can you make a fake news intro?
It would just all be done with mouth sounds.
Yes, and subliminal penis messages.
Limit breaking fake news. LimitBreakRadio.com.
And that's the way the news goes.
That's the other one. That's the other wrong one.
This
But
isn't
try.
the way the news goes.
Yeah, dummy.
This is not the way the news goes.
That sounds really stupid. We should definitely not do that.
Hold on. Our
think we
motto
should.
is that if it sounds stupid, we have to do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go back to our phone lines and talk to Art McCoy? Artemisian. That is not what that
He's
looks
a
like.
mogul.
Let's ask him.
Let's go to Artemisian of Midgar Summer. What's up?
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. I'm going to call you Art for short.
That is, yes, I was going to say Artie or Art, perfectly fine, is what everybody does.
Awesome.
Where's Mognet Central? Tell me.
In my house.
Dun, dun, dun.
Didn't tell me anything.
Wow, you do your business out of your house?
Yep.
I hope you don't have Comcast because they will not give you a business line.
Yeah, they fucking are terrible about that.
No.
Anyway, welcome to Limit Break Radio.
Oh, thanks. This is like maybe the second time I've watched you guys, and then I heard the challenge on the air just now, and I thought, well, better sit up or shut up, I guess. So
Fair enough. All right.
Yes.
Good job. You have
I like
more
you already.
Respect.
You have more cojones than 90% of our naysayers.
That is true. So, floor is yours. Go for it.
Yeah, so one of the things I was going on about chat, and I don't think a lot of people agreed, is that I feel like Final Fantasy, since, I don't know, maybe at least 7 on up, it's a game about fan service. It's a game about the repetition of things that you love. We have, like, you don't play Final Fantasy and go, if they put Shiva in there one more time, I'm going to kill somebody.
Well,
okay,
that's
all
not
right.
what people do.
I see what you're getting at. I absolutely see what you're getting at, because there have been staples of Final Fantasy ever since 2, right? Like you've got what are the defining attributes of a Final Fantasy game, right? Like a game that has Moogles, that has Chocobos, summons, right? Like you've got Ifrit and Shiva and all of those. They take multiple different forms, but they're not always summons. But yes,
You have those quote unquote party members,
right? So all of those aspects, right, are things that are carried through the Final Fantasy series.
It's part of the legacy,
all the way to the current, right? But I think while you have repetition, I think you also have subversion, because while some of the details are similar, right? Every world is so unique unto itself between specifically 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That series of Final Fantasy games really broke the mold for what you're supposed to expect out of an RPG. Those worlds were different. And I think you need at least some kind of hook like that to be able to itch that nostalgia itch without really overdoing it and being heavy-handed about it.
I don't know if I would call what they're doing fan service, because there are certain parts of the legacy that you keep in the same way that every Mario game has coins that you collect, or a princess that you save, or something like that. There are certain staples that make it inherently
certain
Final
conventions,
Fantasy.
right?
Jumping.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I think that one of the design aspects that lots of people gloss over with this sort of thing is that in an MMO, you have so many different people and personalities, and you're not here to make a quick, Final Fantasy quick, like 100-hour game. And you have to make some things very generic or make it seem like it's been done, because it has to fit what you want it to fit, because you're the blank slate character. So I think that people interpret seeing sameness as laziness, but it's a mechanic that it's a device that the tool belt of the developer uses to make the person feel like the world is a little bit of a palette.
But I think
for their paintbrush.
But I think you're right, and I think that that's acceptable when it comes to the way that we've had, like dungeon bosses introduced that were from older games, or that you have all of these other things that we were saying were more subtle callbacks. But this is almost a copy and pasting of a character or even a narrative notion from an entirely different game, and I think that's the part that feels kind of creatively lazy to us, where you have the opportunity to make new things and to, especially with so many new lands and so much new geography that's been added to the world of Eorzea, like you have an ability to expand on that, and it seems like a waste to take it and focus it on some stuff that we had before, and to outright like acknowledge that this was, that this is basically what came before it. Like, you know what I mean? Like there seems like less of an homage and less of a creative interpretation of what we got, which is what I see with every iteration of Final Fantasy, right? Like, while, yes, there are some character designs that are similar, or while there are some names that follow through, that it's like, well, on the SNES, they didn't just copy and paste a Bahamut sprite from 4 to 6, and that feels a little bit more like what is happening here.
Yeah, there's a big difference between having like a Cid or a Chocobo in every Final Fantasy game,
right,
or literally taking the final boss, which was original to that game, and plopping him in another game.
Right.
Without
There's
any
a very big difference.
more reasons.
Without any justification for it.
Yes.
Right. Like that's
the
I
big
think.
thing.
And again, is that like it feels like at some point you need to justify it. Like having references to dungeon mobs be from other Final Fantasy games. Again, that is never something that's ever bothered me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not to a point where I've gotten on here and really ranted and raved about it. Like, some of it, it's like, yeah, that's cute, or like, it didn't really do much for me. But have it like this seems far more egregious than it was even one expansion ago.
Yeah, I agree with you, Art, on what you were trying to say about wanting to make sure that all of your players feel like they maybe have a stake or that they relate to something. WoW did that really, really well when it would put the spotlight on these major lore figures, and you were just like another soldier in the army, right? But I think what they're trying to get at is that when you just do it selectively, when you do it here or there, like Crystal Tower in A Realm Reborn, like that's cool.
Right.
But we're at the point now where they're drawing references from multiple Final Fantasies for major landmark content in a single expansion.
Yeah, I think that's frustrating. Yeah.
But I don't. Maybe it's because I am a Final Fantasy fan, but I don't see that as a problem as long as it's executed well. And one thing I haven't heard is that everybody here says that it's fun. So I'm having a hard time drawing the correlation between it's fun, because
the mechanics are fun, but the storyline and the execution of the lore is not there.
And again, I think that a lot of people pointed out the same problem with Alexander, that while Alexander was mechanically fun, the story was somewhat uninspired. And then you had the second problem with the story is that you got it out of the fucking easy mode. So, like, it was a two-tiered problem, right? That the story was kind of shitty and that you could get it without having to really put in the effort or time. And both of those things led to this confluence of, like, people just not really giving that much of a shit about Alexander unless they really wanted to finish off something like a piece of gear from it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why the nostalgia is not inherently the bad thing. Like we were saying on a previous episode, you say this is only your second time listening, but like we've mentioned before that the problem with Alexander was that, I mean, this was a thing that's been buried under Charlatan forever, and they had so much opportunity to explore the history of Charlatan, how it affected the characters in our party who lived there when that thing was in its bubble, and like how that, I mean, what they lived in fear of it coming, you know, anything. They could have built on Charlatan's lore at all, but instead they decided to give us a contrived bullshit love story instead of giving us actual lore about the world. And I think with Omega, we were all kind of hoping, okay, we've got Nero. He's like, he left Garlemald. He's going to do something with Omega that's going to have something to do with the overall Garland war. But instead now we're just getting a digital landscape with bosses from another Final Fantasy. And while the nostalgia is nice, the story is bullshit.
Right, and I think what most players had identified as Heaven's Word wrapped up is that getting that again, getting a substandard story attached to the raids again is, you know, like, don't do that. Like, right? Like, I think most people had higher expectations. They wanted it to get better, not worse. And I think that, you know, while that is an opinion about whether it's better or worse, that, you know, they did drop the ball here, and I would say that I've seen a lot more disappointment about it than excitement. So you've got to be able to separate the excitement of the confrontation and the excitement of the mechanics and how fun they are to play versus, you know, our analysis of what they're doing with this as on a narrative level, because that does hold as much sway as is it fun.
Right, and I think that on the point of Alexander's story is that I think that, I mean, do you guys ever watch shows on TV like The Flash or?
Oh no! You just gave Kahlo a seizure.
I actually just finished the most recent season, so let's see where this goes. Go ahead.
Okay. All right.
So
let's finish this.
It gets really old when they save the world every episode. So.
Okay.
The story about Alexander, they gave you what some people would call a difference in kind, so that it's not something necessarily that you focus on the world saving aspect, is that you focus on an idealistic story between two people where love prevails. And so that's pretty different than the Bahamut's coming down, or that's very different than that. And so I feel like you might not like that type of genre, or you might not like it inserted into where it was, but I don't think that we should discourage the development team from making those kinds of differences in story that we see or content that we see.
I agree with you 100%. And where I usually get this from is Supernatural, actually, because every season they try to go bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you don't always have to get bigger than the last season, right? I am 100% okay with like character development stuff, like everything that's within like its own tiny ecosystem that doesn't affect the world outside it, right? So in this case, where I think the harm was done is by using FF5, or if the next one uses FF6 or whatever, that there is enough lore and there's enough material within Eorzea itself that they don't need to pull quite this much from an outside source.
You know what?
Yes, I'd expect this in like, you know, an expansion like 8 years from now when there's not as many people playing and they want to get people back for the nostalgia, then totally I can see it as a ploy to get people to play, and I'd be down for that. But when there's so much of the world we haven't explored and so much lore I want to know about, why are they choosing purposefully not to tell us?
I think, you know what? You guys just identified something that I think is really important.
I just want to sell more lore books, that's fine.
I mean, maybe.
There was actually a comment that someone, Tenor Mark Martin made, and he said, do you think that maybe because the way that Heaven's Ward ended, that was all original content, right? And near the end of it, a lot of people were really sick. It was kind of played out. So going into Stormblood, that maybe the higher-ups, maybe someone said, look, your original stuff isn't working. Let's start drawing on classic FF stuff that we know people love.
I don't know. I think that shifts the blame in some regards. But I think that you guys did hit on something that is, really insightful and really important, and everyone should definitely keep that in mind. It's tough. It's tough because we want the raids to be engaging, but yet none of us really know what definitively we want out of it. I think what we're all kind of hitting on here is that it's just on some kind of fundamental level, it's not really striking that chord that we want out of it. Is it mechanically fun? Yes, but it's gotta satiate both of those. It's gotta live in both of those worlds, right? Like it's gotta satisfy on the story end as much as it satisfies on the is it fun end. And yeah, I can't help but continue to feel that this was just lazy and phoned in. And again, if we had more content that fleshed out things in Eorzea or things that were specific to FF14, maybe I'd feel like it was justified. But looking at the grand scope of it, we've got this, and then we've got Ivalice, and those are two things that take the focus away from Eorzea. I'm interested in Eorzea. I'm not interested in going back and fighting shit in FF5.
Exactly. And all of their promotional material, I've noticed for 14 has been like, join the rebellion, fight back, take back Alamigo. Like, that's been all their promotional things, but then all the sub content is totally separated from the world. Even Doma, like everything else has been completely separated from the rebellion against Garlemald at all, and it's almost like you're in a bubble where it doesn't exist.
Art, let me ask you this. So imagine the Omega Raid, instead of using characters from this folk tale from FF5, instead if they had taken folk heroes or folklore tales that Omega had learned from all of the different aura tribes from Doma, right? You could then keep the same sort of story you have where he's creating this tournament to find out who the most powerful being is, but at the same time you're still
get a little more history.
Exactly, you're getting history and lore about Doma, about FF itself, and then it doesn't seem as disconnected like Nero said.
And again, I think that is another common complaint
also,
that I've heard
of. People are saying we learned nothing about Alamigo. Okay, give us the fucking old monk kings and shit, and tell us about that.
I don't remember hearing shit about that. That was all the setup that we were given throughout 2.0 and 3.0 through that one guy in fucking Ul'dah, right? We got all of that backstory about Alamigo and
the two monk tribe things.
Yes, exactly. And then it's not even talked about. It's not even talked. Yeah, you go to the land and it's not even a fucking reference. What?
Toss it aside.
So I think two answers to that. The first answer is that about replacing Eorzea with Final Fantasy V is that there are some people, you guys might not be complaining about it here, but the vast majority of their players would if they didn't get a callback. So I think that's something.
But again, there's a way to do it, and it's not in the main raid.
There's already so many fucking callbacks everywhere else, I'm
not saying that I don't necessarily agree or disagree with you, but I'm just saying that there would people.
I was feeling that too. I did say that earlier.
The people that expect fan service, they would go, "What a great opportunity did they miss to give us?"
No, I don't agree.
I don't agree. I was the one sitting here saying all the other Final Fantasies have gotten throwbacks. I was really excited that 5 was finally getting one. That was my opinion for sure. But I also think that it would have been better. I think Ivalice might be able to do it well. Crystal Tower, making it its own world that you can tie in to FF14's lore. But throwing in FF5 in such a contrived way, while cool. Well, doing it again doesn't. I don't know. I wish they would have been able to tie the and make it more references rather than being literally we're taking Exdeath from 5 and placing him in front of you. More making him part of our lore somehow would have been way more cool of a throwback and a reference than literally plucking him and dropping him.
And again, when we talk about what we knew we were going to be getting with Stormblood, you could have thrown all of your throwback references and all of your external to Eorzea references, you could have thrown all of those into the Evilly stuff and no one would have complained. I don't think you would have gotten anyone complain. If you had no references to an external Final Fantasy throughout the entirety of the 4.0 expansion, I don't think you would have gotten a single complaint. I genuinely don't, because everyone's already bracing for what this Evilly thing is going to be. Again, we don't know if they're trying to fit Evilly somewhere into the world, but the Omega tells me no. Omega tells me
literally it's going to be like, okay, we beat Omega trial mode, and so now you're going to go to the next level in a different world. Like, we have no fucking clue if we're going to be literally teleporting ourselves to Evilly or if Evilly is a part of the lore. No idea.
Exactly.
What's been the most celebrated raid in FF14 so far?
Binding Coil of Bahamut.
Art, would you disagree with that?
Well, I have to come clean and say I could never finish that one.
But did you do them? And did you?
I'm a baddie, and I could never get the mechanics down.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's fair.
But okay, were you one of the people sitting there bitching about wanting an easy mode?
No,
or did you
I
think
just
that like the rating was cool? It's just I don't have a group where I'm not able to learn this stuff.
I'm just not able to learn it, so I said it's just not for me.
That's fine.
That's
fine.
The general consensus seems to be that Binding Coil was when rating was at its best.
Right. Okay, so do you agree? Now, even though you haven't done Binding Coil, do you agree that is the prevailing opinion in the FF14 community, that among the 3 raids, and granted Omega's not complete,
or
but
even
among
the side raids too.
Yeah, among the raids that we have access to in this game, that the best one and the most well executed was Binding Coil of Bahamut. Do you agree with that is the general overarching opinion of the FF14 community?
Of the resources that I watch, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What callbacks did Binding Coil do? What fan service did Binding Coil do?
Are you kidding? It's in the name. It's Bahamut.
Right. Just his name.
But just Bahamut, that's it.
Right.
But I will say
And
there is a callback one that was good and has been done right.
Well, it's
Ozma.
okay to call back when it's good.
Because look at
No,
Ozma.
that's not
from
what I'm trying
FF9,
to
right?
say.
That's what Ozma is from. And
Yes.
the thing is
that's
that
a great
Ozma,
example.
No, Ozma was a great throwback, right?
Yes.
It's a big fucking circle.
Exactly.
We knew it's from FF9. However, it completely tied in to the lore of the game.
Yes.
It swallowed up cities in
Yes.
in the game, in our lore. So we all knew it was from FF9, but it wasn't literally like, this is the Ozma Zidane fought, here, fight it.
Right.
Now. It's like, this is actually part of our character's world history. That is how you do a reference.
And that's the important part, is taking a
that's the
reference and
difference.
weaving it into Eorzea's story and not feeling like you took it and just said, okay, here's X-Death itself.
And again, because we don't have
Phoenix.
And Phoenix, yes, but because we don't have the entirety of the context of Omega, we can't place it into a greater context in the world just yet. But if this is the concept that they're going to be going with, it seems to be not even troubling itself with having to make that distinction. Like, they're not even rising to the challenge of trying to figure out how to work it into the world lore. And that's the part that I find lazy. That's the part that I take a real issue with. You're right. Is Bahamut a callback? Absolutely. Is Alexander a callback? Absolutely. But at least in Alexander, they did try to make it its own thing. They did try to make it its own part of Eorzea, even though there were oversights.
It much better.
Right. Like, they could have taken
tried.
it. They could have taken it in a bunch of different ways that would have been really interesting, but they didn't, and that's okay. I don't think anyone bemoaned them of that specifically. But now that we're just being thrown into another world, and it's not being worked into ours in a way that feels justified. That's I think the bigger problem.
We just lost Discord.
Oh no.
Like,
that sucks.
Yeah, it says
was Art on Discord?
Yes, 3 servers are unavailable due to a temporary outage.
Interesting. That's weird. And Art, thank you for the call. That's disappointing.
I actually wanted to ask him, since he called him with a dissenting opinion, if he felt we talked over him or if he had fun and if he enjoyed himself.
Yeah. No, Art, it's because Discord went out, man, as a service. Like, the whole The whole service went down. If you want to call back, Art, we will let you call back. We'll get you to the front of the line. If you want to call back either through a landline or Limit Break Radio on Skype, we'd be happy to take that call. Because I do want to ask you if you felt like you were talked over. It's a good question. Anyway, so we're getting kind of down towards the end here of the show.
And there's a pogo raid that's starting in a little while.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, right down there. Three Bowser at our place.
Oh shit! But anyway, if there are any more calls that obviously we can't use Discord right at this very second, but Limit Break Radio on Skype 810-515-8715. Again, if Art calls back, we'll get him to the front of the line. Let's talk to Senji of Sergeant Tannis. What's up, Senji?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, thanks for calling Limit Break Radio. What's going on?
I just wanted to say, first of all, praise Juxta.
Drop the call. Hang up on him.
Boo.
Yeah, you're a cool dude.
Boo. Okay.
Hold on.
What else?
I got actual stuff to say.
Okay.
So, about the Omega Raid. To me, you guys are starting to sound like the Wii wants now with this story thing.
What makes you say that?
Well, just because, I understand this, in terms of the lore and the stories tying back into Eorzea, my understanding of Omega was that it was this being that the Alligans used to upgrade their technology, as well as it came and captured Bahamut for them. It also came and kicked Shinryu's ass as well while it was here, when we activated it.
Okay.
So, it does have some tie-ins to the actual lore of what we're dealing with. I do agree with you guys that it kind of seems it's wonky. It's phoning it is exactly what I would call it. Having X-Death show up, but it's they're trying to give you an idea of Omega's ability and power, because he's this thing that makes life forms,
right?
And he's testing us, right?
Okay.
So
you can have that. You could have that plot point without having to directly rip straight from Final Fantasy V.
Yeah. What is it? What is it intrinsic about Final Fantasy V, or really any of the other Final Fantasy games, that makes this central function of Omega necessary? Not even necessary. I won't even make you answer necessary. Even makes it engaging or interesting for me as a player of FF14.
Outside of nostalgia,
right?
Well, I couldn't answer that for you because I didn't play 5.
Okay, but I feel like it's not justifying itself well on its face. It's not what our criticism is more for the fact that it doesn't present a cohesive or even a very interesting storyline for me as a player. Why am I, as the Warrior of Light, getting involved in this outside of the fact that we saw all the setup for it, that we were involved with Ilberd, right? All of those things are kind of pushed to the side, and you go, hey, it's challenge time, and we're going to send you to another dimension. All of that shit is just kind of pushed to the background while we get sent on this other tangential thing to do. It feels very disjointed, and when something feels disjointed like that, I think it starts bordering on unsatisfactory or boring, and that's where you start getting the rejection of the rejection of people going oh, this is good. Well, no, the fuck it's not. You know what I mean? I think that's where you're seeing a lot of our disagreement formed from.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with you there. It seems like they tried way too hard to be fan servicey and just put in the FF5 people.
Yeah.
Me not playing FF5, I don't know those links, but because my focus wasn't on that, it was the gravity mechanic, having the different levels that you have to focus on, having the DDR platforming with that, what was her name? The H girl.
Halicarnus.
Yes.
Gravity and DDR, you guys aren't selling this to me.
No, all the fights and stuff were good and fun.
Yeah.
But they could have also had their own lore within Final Fantasy XIV.
Right.
This doesn't feel. I think the crux of our argument comes to the point that, well, yes, I'm sure that they found ways to connect it. That they could have done a better job at using this raid to build Eorzea and Final 14 as its own brand, as its own world, without having to use other Final Fantasies as a crutch.
And I think a we want generally argues for something that benefits them, and I don't think that this is something that benefits us in a tangible way. I think that this is an argument about what we think is the most engaging narrative. But I mean, like, in terms of having a dog in this fight, all I'm expressing is an opinion about the way I'm reacting to the way that this is being presented. It's a little bit more like a movie review. I'm not saying this needs to change. I'm saying that this isn't really resonating with me. And the fact that when you you know what I mean? Like, the fact that when you say that, other people tend to agree. I think you can kind of get like, oh well, they're trying to rally the troops, or this is a we want moment. But I don't think it is. I think that this is much more in line with a discussion about what we think as a narrative is most interesting and compelling as someone who's consuming the product.
I mean, I say we want just because I wanted to talk to you guys.
Fair enough. Fair enough. You just wanted to get the attention.
I actually agree that they dropped the ball. I agree they dropped the ball in the story. You're exactly right with that. I just said we want, so Cookie would put my call through.
That's fair. That's fair. You know what? Senji, you figured out how to game the system. I respect that. He just wanted to get on the air, and he knew that if he told Kooky, hey, I want to disagree with these guys or call them fucking idiots, that he would get to the front of the line. Senji, you're a smart guy.
You know what? That's fair, playing devil's advocate.
Totally.
I mean, trust it. You know what? But the one thing I have to disagree with was Nika being a teacher. Like, that's the word. Like, why would she...
You know, some people aren't smart, okay?
Yeah.
Don't blame her. She's a woman.
She's just trying to craft the opinions of an entire generation without their consent.
You know, since someone actually tried to call her out during the show where, you know, the jig is up, she actually left early, guys.
She did. She had to split early.
Yeah,
That's
she
so
left.
Funny. That's so funny.
That's why she gets less pay than everybody.
It's funny. That's brutal. It's funny because we knew that she was leaving early, and she asked, like, do I say anything? I just leave. No one will notice. No one will notice.
The jig is up. Everyone take to her Twitter and just flame her for leaving early.
Nika, you've been busted. Senji, thank you very much for the call. Since you gamed the system and you called out Nika,
you said I'm awesome.
We're gonna let you have a shout out.
Oh, I just want to shout out my FC, the Chocobos, just on Sergeant Tannis there. Love you guys. We're going to start raiding. And, have a great show, guys.
Thank you, Senji. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it. I was going to plug the number again, but I think we're going to end up wrapping up. If there's anyone that's been holding on for a little while, Kooky, you can send them our way. We'll take one more call before we wrap up the show. But I think that this has been a really interesting discussion. Whenever we get an injection of raid content, I think it does always lead to a whole lot of discussion about what people want from the upper levels of this game or the end game. And to me, that's always a very interesting discussion, even though I may not be the most involved personally with it. I definitely think that it's an important thing to put a lot of thought and effort into as a development staff. And I think that, why if it feels half-assed to the player, like, it can't, you know what I mean? Like, it can't. Why are you as a dev trying to pursue it?
Shouldn't it feel half-assed to you?
It should, and I don't know if they're just maybe they're just smelling their own fart smell, and
maybe they don't care.
Maybe they believe their own bullshit too much. I don't know. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just over it. Maybe that's it. Is that, we've seen that, the development team doesn't like working hard. We've heard that from the No Clip documentary. Even though I think Yoshi P is probably a dude who's down to work, who just loves the fucking work of it. But I think he might be saddled with a dev team that is just not living up to expectations.
Doesn't that make sense with a dev team that is constantly being shuffled around from project to project?
It does.
Guys, Piggy here says he'd like to disagree with Juxta's glam. He looks like a homosexual Mask of Zorro.
Ooh.
That's like the Red Mage glamour. Like, what do you want from me?
Gay.
Jeez, go away, pig. Get
you know what?
Shit out of here.
He's still slam dancing down there, so you know what?
He actually stopped, and then someone says, "Bring back the pig," and he's like, "I got you," and he jumped back up there again.
Jeez.
Back to mosh pitting already. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us here today. Again, if there are any more calls, if there's anyone who's been hanging on for a while, Kooky, send them our way before we wrap it up here. But again, thank you so much, guys, for calling in today. We had a lot of callers. Art, I want to thank you, even though we got cut off.
Yeah, it feels bad.
It actually does.
We were having a good discussion.
That was one of the more interesting discussions.
We were accused of force DCing him.
No, come on.
Yeah,
try to connect. You know what? Try to connect to our fucking Discord server.
I've been trying.
No. I'm telling them. Try limitbreakradio.com/Discord. If you can connect, then you know what? We're fucking liars. Because you're not going to be able to.
To be fair, it was MRU and Nero.
No, whatever. That guy. That fucking guy.
He loves us. We just got back in.
Did we?
Oh, damn it! Now we're liars.
All right, let me get back on air.
Okay, all right. Again, Art, if you want to call back in, we'll give you a couple more minutes to wrap up your point. But again,
it's not working.
No. Anyway, thank you guys for your calls today. Again, this has been a super fascinating conversation, and I appreciate all of you joining in today. A lot of enthusiastic callers, a lot of first-time callers.
Oh, yeah, it was. Art in the chat, it says even my own Discord went off. So,
yeah.
And so did how you guys...
Magnet
my
Central.
Discord.
No,
Okay.
and we knew.
Okay,
we knew. It is. It's not your fault. You were not lying. It's not your fault.
I mean, it might be his fault.
Let's complain about it.
All right, let's go back. Let's go back to our phone lines one more time, and I think we've got Aragon.
Aragon.
What's
Just kidding. That's not Aragon. That's Aragon.
Argaron of the fairy server. What's going on, Argaron?
It's a pirate Pokemon.
Arg.
Yeah, you'll have to also excuse me. I'm trying to also play one-handed while fighting on the big bridge.
Fun.
I believe that maybe they're actually trying. I'm gonna also, of course, believe column A and column B on this whole thing. But I also think, what if they're also trying to be like, trying to like kid up everybody for more cash by, doing this whole, hey, look at this, look at these guys from this game and being all,
yes,
how you used to be into this game. What if you wanted to go back and play this game and all that sort of stuff?
Oh yeah. That's why I think that all of the references that you're going to see are from Final Fantasy V and upward. I don't think we're going to go back. We're not going to go back to the Final Fantasy II. No one gives a shit about that game. No one cares about Final Fantasy II. It's had 7 fucking re-releases since it came out.
What about 4?
And they've all been dog shit. And no, and
the after years.
Everyone who's ever played 2 goes, that's my least favorite fucking Final Fantasy game, with good fucking reason. You're not going to see Furion or whatever the fuck his name is.
FF13 was worse.
Was that who was in 2? I don't even remember.
Furion, yeah.
Yeah, okay. What was the Gartz, whatever the fuck his name was.
That's 5.
5? No, who was the big dumb retard in your party? Wasn't there a dumb silent
Rena?
guy? Was that it?
There was Rena?
No, I don't remember. I've only played like maybe an hour of that game where I was just like, fuck this shit.
I've actually completed the entire game to its fullest completion, and wasn't too good of a game.
No.
I got the whole mechanics thing. It's just like, it was something they tried, but it was obviously not too good of a game as it was.
The chat room is telling me that's Guy. Okay, Guy. I'm sorry.
Some stupid ass guy.
I'm sorry that I forgot Guy. Anyway,
it's pronounced Gui.
Anyway, that's the thing, is that you're not going to see references that go back in the history of Final Fantasy. You're just going to see the shit that people remember. And to me, I'm actually surprised that they went as far back as 5. That I would have thought that they would have gone straight for the fucking obvious, like on the nose FF7, right out of the gate.
That's part 2, bro.
Yeah, well, obviously.
And then part 3 is going to be a greatest hits of end bosses.
I'm surprised they didn't go back to 1 for the most part.
No, yeah, I don't think you're going to see that. I don't think you're going to see them going back in the history.
Well, we already had Kraken.
I mean, yes, but
That's the end. Just yes. You can't argue that. There's no but.
Who was the main villain in 1? I can't remember his name. Garland. Yeah, that's right.
We get him in Garlemald all the time.
Anyway, thank you very much for the call, Argaron of the Fairy server. Appreciate hearing from you. Sorry to anyone that we couldn't get on the phone today.
We had a lot of people trying to call.
A lot of people trying to call.
Good. We like that.
Guys, try to call in during the middle or the start of the show.
If we can get a good lineup of people.
Yeah, because then we can get more people.
We can chain your calls and get a really big XP bonus.
The thing is if we know
come on Discord.
If we know coming, it doesn't matter. We're wrapping up.
Oh,
we have 4 minutes.
Dang it!
If we know coming out of the news that you're hanging on and that you want to get on the show, then we can order this a whole lot better.
Oh yeah, we'll jump right into it and save the discussion.
We'll just forego all of the stupid bullshit that we write down on the outline every week, and we'll just talk to you guys. If that's what you want to do. Really? I haven't made enough fucking outlines for the show that I get to every once in a while hang back and let you guys take care of it?
Of course.
Really? I haven't established
No.
I haven't established the format for all of this shit.
Me. Juxta doesn't do anything except make the little thing at the beginning.
No, actually, fuck you. I think that's Ascalia puts more work into our outlines than any of us.
No, the way that it's been going recently, Ascalia does FEC, I do LBR.
Really?
Yep.
Actually, I just want to say that Nika did all of this outline all by herself. And she can't say no. And you're a liar, so you can't be trusted.
Nika.
I'll forgive the lazy storytelling if they bring butts into the game and actually call him butts.
Really?
You have low expectations, Analos.
Yeah.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
You've got a cheap price there, buddy.
We thought that Juxta was cheap.
God damn. Anyway, all right. Thank you guys for hanging out and for listening to the show today. Appreciate having you along as we do every week. If you want to catch this show from the beginning, you can start listening starting at 5 p.m. here on twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. We love having you guys along for the live show. Or is it 4? Do we start at 4?
I was going to say 4. We definitely start at 4.
Fuck me.
God, you suck.
I know,
His
right?
brain is roasting. It's really hot in here.
It really, you know what, to be fair,
obnoxiously.
It is really hot, and I have been... You're a bitch. ...carrying the bulk of this conversation, right? I mean, come on, I've made some pretty cogent points today.
Okay.
If I'm going to lose it, let's do it on the out. You know?
If it's going to be lost at some point, yes, the out is a good point.
That's not bad, right?
You went to college for this. Just don't lose it.
Here's the thing, is that I was able to maintain
vocal consistency.
I was able to maintain all of my points about Stormblood, and now if I forget all of your names on the outro, that's
justified.
Justified, exactly. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. Twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, starting at 4 here at Twitch.
I just want to say, we got 265 follows today.
What the?
I think
between both shows?
Yeah. Something is wonky with the follows. I don't understand what's going on.
They're not real.
I don't trust you guys.
Yeah.
You're not real.
You're all bots. Stop it. Someone's trying to get us banned for bots. For botting?
For follow bots.
Yeah.
For follow bots. They're not even in the chat room. They're not even watching the channel. They're just coming and one by one, not 2 by 2, but 1 by 1, just following. And in spurts. Did you notice that there's weird spurts?
Well, because the guy doing it, he has to take a break every once in a while.
He gets tired.
That's fair. Anyway, guys, thanks so much for joining us. 4 p.m. is the start time here at twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio. Thank you to all of our brand new follows. Anyone who subbed during the show, anyone who supports us over at patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. I'll say it again. You guys give us the ability to be able to make this show, and your support gives us the ability to make it independently and make it what we want. So if you like the show, if you like our slightly irreverent style of humor, or if you just like the dick jokes that we tell, then patreon.com/Limit Break Radio is where you can go to give just a little bit. Just give whatever is comfortable for your budget. It's a monthly program. We'll give you something in return, and hopefully you'll be quite happy and satisfied with the amount of content and the type of content that we put out. I want to remind everyone listening right now, we have a pretty amazing opportunity with Checkpoint. I talked about this this week on Final Encountercast, but I also want to talk about it here as well very quickly, is that, we have a great opportunity with Checkpoint Radio, and we want to make the most of that opportunity. And, where you guys come in and you support us in really, tangible material ways, such as Patreon or through Twitch, donations or, PayPal donations. What we need from you guys in this instance is we need participation. We need you guys to go over to Check PT Radio on Facebook and Twitter. We need follows, we need likes, we need retweets, we need shares, we need comments. We need you guys to be an active social media force for Checkpoint Radio. And we want you guys to tell your fans, or your friends, rather. If you have fans, tell them too. But
you probably don't.
If you've only got 15 people that follow you on Twitter, I want you to take personal charge of making sure that all 15 of those people by next week, they're not fans of Checkpoint Radio, but they know who the fuck we are. That's going to be your responsibility. And, if you run a podcast, I'm talking to you, Maelstrom Radio. If you run a YouTube channel, if you run a Twitch channel, what I ask is just share Checkpoint Radio with your fans, your followers, your listeners, and try to help spread the word of what the show is. Because again, whether you like Limit Break Radio or not, whether you like a Nero or Kahlo or Juxta as individuals or not, what we have set in front of us is really unique. This is a syndicated radio show in major media markets that exclusively talks about video games and esports. And even if esports isn't your thing, I think that this is something that all of us can kind of recognize how big of a deal this is. This is a much more meaningful movement into the mainstream. It's organic. You guys know us. You know where we came from. You've watched us evolve the product since 2006. Some of you have been here since that long. Some of you are, like Art was, joining just recently. But all of you do have the ability to help make Checkpoint Radio something bigger than any of us could do on an individual level. So please share Checkpoint Radio and try to help grow the show. That's the least that we could ask from you guys. So that's going to do it for Limit Break Radio this week. I want to thank everyone who listened, who called in, who hangs out, who helped support the show, and who left us an iTunes review or a YouTube comment. Those were really fun to read, and I want to continue to encourage you guys to do that. Maybe less so on Facebook. Maybe less so on YouTube, but you know what? Whatever. We'll talk about that some other time. Anyway, I want to thank my crew. Nika Kayanian, even though she skirted out early. Kooky Persona, who has been handling all our calls and diligently reporting all of our links into the chat room. Skuro, who handles our YouTube, as well as my in-studio crew. We want to get out of here because it's really hot. Juxtaposition, Kahlo Landis, I'm an hero. Keep listening. Limit Break Radio is a production of LimitBreakRadio.com and Bender Media Productions. This episode was produced by Kahlo Landis, Juxtaposition, and Kooky Persona. Final Fantasy XIV and Eorzea are trademarks of Square Enix. Funding for Limit Break Radio is provided by Miri Kennett, Satori Komeji, Darkflux, Null Packet, Shira Heartslot, Nexian Theta, Brian Alexander, Tommy Carlson, and fellow Limit Break Radio listeners. To support Limit Break Radio, visit patreon.com/Limit Break Radio. Opening music in this episode from Daniel Lambie. Listen to Man with the Machine Gun and other great tracks at facebook.com/Daniel Lambie Metal Gamer. Closing music in this episode provided by Husky by the Geek. Listen to this and other great Final Fantasy XIV and video game rock covers and original music at facebook.com/Husky by the Geek. In-game graphics for Limit Break Radio's Twitch stream are provided by Diamond Multimedia. Check out their line of AMD graphics cards and other hardware at diamondmm.com. Limit Break Radio and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.